Somebody brought up something the other day that is probably a pretty good idea, which was that we should keep a spreadsheet of these replays so we can like make sure we get them all. So just kind of like, I mean, I know that we're starting pretty much where we left off the previous week, but sometimes we miss a couple people, and we don't want people to feel like they're not getting anything for their support. So maybe
This is true.
Maybe next week before we go live, we can just like put all of the ones that are submitted into a spreadsheet and then check them off.
Instead of doing it when we're live.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Matthew Impus, fan here. Thanks. This is great. It's just you and me, buddy. Oh, you got Igor. Holy fuck! How do you pronounce your name? Igor. Gore. Bonfim. Where are you from? Where are you from? That's what I'm wondering.
So you want to know what the game was that I just played?
Let's hear about it.
We had a first pick techies, and then
that sounds pretty good.
And
Techie's
then
a good hero.
The very next pick was a. To start it out, we had 3 people who moused over the safe lane. Sorry.
With carry heroes selected.
Yeah. So actually, it was first pick Juggernaut, second pick techies, third pick Shadow Shaman. Then we had nobody was putting on mid, so I was like, okay, whatever. I'll play Pangolier because it was against a Viper. And then we had a final pick Jungle Invoker, who started with a Quelling Blade and 1 Clarity, and that was his starting items. And the game lasted 65 minutes. And I spent the entire time pushing all of the lanes, making tons of space, and we eventually won.
I was going to say, if the game went 65 minutes, that sounds like you should win that one, actually.
Yep, we did. It was pretty gross, though. Thought it was never going to end. We wiped them 3 times, and they went and farmed our medium camps on our side of the map. I had to...
That's one of those games that makes you reconsider your actions in life, because they brought you to the point where you could be in that game dealing with that shit.
Exactly.
Like that's some existential shit if I've ever heard it. I've had pubs like that all the fucking time, man. And you know what? After games like that, you just have to not play, because you're not gonna be in the right frame of mind.
Even if you win, even if you win, you just can't play after a game like that.
You can't. I've recently had games where it feels like it's just totally random and there's nothing. By the way, my Dota for some reason is stuck on that fucking quit bullshit.
Oh, really?
Where yes, it's so annoying. I don't know why they haven't fixed this. It's been months, and it's such a problem. Like, it would be faster for me to restart my computer, but we're streaming, so I don't want to. It's still, do you really wish to quit Dota 2 is stuck up here. Like, I can't Control-Alt-Delete it either.
You can't task manager it? That's so weird.
No, you can't, because I'm on Windows 10 or something like that, or whatever. The task manager comes up and it's like, what do you want to open up, task manager? But that Dota goes over that, and then that just goes away because that's not technically a window. Task manager, if it just opened the task manager, that would be fine because it's a window. Jesus,
that's funny.
It's still stuck on. Do you really wish to quit Dota 2? I might actually have to restart for this one. It's never taken this long before. It usually takes like 5 minutes. Okay. But it's been like 10.
Yeah, just go restart. We'll be here.
This is such a dumb reason to have to restart, though. I feel like I've left it for long enough that I can fucking leave it now. Oh my god, I'm so triggered, though. I don't understand how this is a problem.
Do you not play in borderless window?
That's the problem.
Do you play in
closing it?
You play in full screen?
It's currently on borderless window, and that's the problem. This happens on borderless window.
Oh, weird.
Yeah. But I do play on exclusive full screen because for whatever reason my laptop can't render 60 FPS on
borderless.
it's not on exclusive full screen.
I gotcha.
I don't know why. Does your computer work, or it gives you over 60 FPS?
Yeah.
That's weird. I don't know why mine doesn't. Maybe it's the graphics engine that's being used. All right, I actually have to restart. This is literally just taking over my computer like a fucking.
Okay. Well, everybody in chat, say hi to Jenkins. Say we'll miss you, and we'll see you soon. I'll drink some tea and take questions from the chat until we're ready. Jenkins is frozen because he's restarting his computer. All right, now Jenkins is gone. We can definitely just talk shit about him. So let's talk about Jenkins' last video. Let's be perfectly honest. He 100% stole that video from himself because he made that content and then somebody else copied it. And then Jenkins copied himself from previous because people in chat saw the new video that was copying our old video. And then they requested us to make more content like our old video that had been copied in the new video by the other guy. And then Jenkins made more content like our old video. And then, so Jenkins really stole the idea from himself. And yeah, what an asshole. Who would steal from himself, you know? It's pretty messed up. I wouldn't do that. What do I think about Weaver this patch? I think he's really good. I mean, they just gave him free damage.
The loom weaves and a new pattern appears.
Dude, as I was holding down the power button, I had the realization that I was uploading videos for Manoj for him to edit, and I was like 2 hours into an upload.
Oh my god!
Of one of the components of it, and it's canceled now.
Oh shit.
I'm actually gonna need to go to like a Starbucks or something to upload. That's legitimately my situation right now. Because Dota 2 wouldn't close.
Well, you should write an angry email to Valve because they usually respond to that and they immediately fix bugs that are complained about by the community.
I'm not gonna do that. I'm just gonna be salty about it.
Well, you're pretty good at being salty, so
you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
I'm gonna just tweet this out.
Alright, I need to do my duty of looking for some replays. Okay, we're starting with Jorge, and it's Broodmother mid, and I'm so glad that you're submitting a Broodmother mid replay because I play a lot of Broodmother, and I play a lot of Broodmother mid, and it's a losing replay as well. So, reviewing replays form our Patreon supporters and the community live. All right, Donnie, no more using Twitter until you learn English.
Is that what I put? Oh, I did. Form. Nice.
Yes. Yes, you did.
Well, I'm pretty proud of my English skills, so that's good. Form. You know, it's very form-fitting replays. It's like Jorge's sending us these numbers, and we look at the replay. It's like very form-fitting. We can see, you know, all of his sexy, muscular physique underneath the form-fitting replay.
Well, it's also like this replay review session has taken the form of like essentially a therapy session for us. So
oh, that's true. That's a good way to put it.
All right, let's see. Where's Jorge at? There he is. Knox, 18-5, and you lost. Perfect. Well,
Yeah.
actually, maybe not that perfect because you're still flexing an 18 and 5 for
1 and 23 Darkseer. I think I discovered your problem.
Jesus Christ.
All right, let's look at the actual items. So, got Broodmother with a Soul Ring, Bloodthorn, BKB, Radiance, Desolator. And the graph is actually, it looks like they were basically never ahead. They were just behind the whole game. So that shows
Go back to the hero damage for me. I'm just curious about something.
hero damage. Sure.
Okay. All right. Okay. So Darkseer did 7,000 hero damage. Yeah. This seems like probably there's not. This is not a great replay. This one is honestly just Darkseer being a moron. But it's Broodmother mid, and I play that a lot, so I'm sure I'll find something. But you can probably chalk this one up to this is just one that you're destined to lose. But it is really good to have. I've been reading up on Stoicism lately. You guys should check it out. It's a really great philosophy. But essentially, a big component of this Stoic philosophy is that your perspective in a game like this can still be that you made mistakes and you're the reason that you lost, even though it's not necessarily true, but just because that attitude lends itself towards you learning and getting a lot better, and there's no point in focusing on the Darkseer being a moron, as much as we joke about it. So essentially, I'm going to point out flaws in your play. You should look at flaws in your play. Ignore this Darkseer, even though I know that you're not ignoring this Darkseer because that's why you submitted the replay. But it will benefit you to do this, even in games like this. This is actually a great Stoic test, and Stoicism is great for learning Dota. Let me tell you, all the best players are people who don't have any emotional extremes. You got your Braxes, your Universes, your PPDs. He doesn't experience emotional extremes. He does it on Twitter because he knows that that's what people expect from him, but not in game. Anyway, let's watch this. Okay. So you put one web down. I would say that you shouldn't put that second web there because the second web actually blocks you. It disallows you to block the creeps when you get to that area. So you're basically guaranteeing that this Invoker or whoever it is mid, which they should probably put the Troll mid or something, or they should probably put the Underlord mid in this game. But essentially, that second web is when you get to that point, you can't block the creeps there. So you're going to give the guy a free creep wave right in the middle there. So you want to spawn the second web when you get to the lane instead.
Yeah, because, I mean, for those of you who don't play Broodmother, which might be a lot of people, the webs give Brood phasing. So if you place this web here and you're trying to block the creep wave down, once you hit like this part, the creeps will just run through you, which just completely ruins your block. So that's what Jenkins is talking about.
Especially with being on Radiant, it's typically the Dire will have a relatively easy block on you, so you're going to give him a creep wave, like, unless he messes this up, which probably he will, because he's honestly an idiot for taking Invoker mid versus Broodmother when they have Underlord on the enemy team. Like, if they were good in this game, they lane Underlord against you, but he still outblocks you. So you're giving him a free first creep wave, and the problem with Broodmother is, like, just the first creep wave. After the first creep wave, you should completely decimate this guy. But where somebody can get an advantage is the first creep. Like, he gets a deny on you there because of this issue.
Yep.
We literally just saw the impact of that missed block. And I know it doesn't seem like a big deal, and you destroyed this game, but you should destroy this game. It's Invoker. Like, you're a hard counter to him mid. They should honestly lane, like, even if they didn't have the Underlord, they should lane the Jug against you and get 2 Stout Shields. Like, it's actually unacceptable for this team that they laned an Invoker against you when they have heroes that can deal with the Broodmother.
Right. But, I mean, that's just this level. This is Arcane, Archon. That's just Archon, Legend, Ancient. I would say maybe an Ancient is where people start to even consider switching the lanes. But if you're below Ancient, people will take a hero that's traditionally a mid hero, and then it'll only go to the mid lane, and they'll refuse to do anything else. So that's just how it is.
That's awful. This guy's gonna get destroyed. It's Invoker versus Brood. It's a hard counter.
Yeah.
There's nothing that he can do in this matchup. You should deny and last hit everything. It's not. you definitely want to focus on like moving your spiders quicker to the range creep. This is not a matchup like with all these spiders. He shouldn't get any denies here. If you're playing in such a hard counter matchup, you have a lot of pressure on you to completely destroy this game.
Right, and the reason for that is because when you think about it like this, you know, we've talked many times about how if you're having a hard lane, there's a very good chance that somebody else on your team is having an easy lane because there's more resources dedicated to shutting you down, unless you just completely screwed up the draft and got counterpicked in every single lane. But basically, by using a pick like a Broodmother, and Brood is one of those heroes that sort of has a specific tempo that he needs to play at, which means that you're kind of dedicating a decent amount of resources to this lane by picking a Broodmother, just because of the nature of the hero. So because you're dedicating so many resources by playing a Brood, it means that you need this lane to go extremely well.
Also, a lot of the time when you last pick a Broodmother like this, it's sacrificing your other lanes, and you have to expect. I mean, 1 in 23 going back to the Darkseer, it's like that's obviously completely unacceptable from him. However, there are going to be losing lanes if you last pick a Broodmother mid, and you really just need to keep your sanity in a game like this. What is going on? This guy's literally AFK.
I thought he was jungling or something, but yeah, he's just AFK.
I mean,
okay, what do you think so far? CS discrepancy, is it big enough? Is it okay?
Invoker should have nothing. You should dive him earlier than level 7. Like, as soon as you get level 2 in the spiderlings and you spawn like 3 or 4 spawns of them, there's absolutely nothing that he can do to stop you from going on him unless he uses Ghost Walk, but then he's using Ghost Walk, which costs him like his entire mana pool. So I would say that in this matchup, this is similar to the Tinker matchup too, like Brood versus Tinker. People don't realize that like Invoker and Tinker doing okay against a Broodmother is not acceptable, because once you're like level 2 or 3 on Brood, you can send all of your spiderlings against these heroes and kill them with like 3 or 4 spawns. And yeah, I mean, if you can do that, you should do that. And it's like it's a consistent thing. You either force him to Ghost Walk, and then if you can spare the money, you have a dust for him, or you force him to Ghost Walk, and then there's no punish for that, and then he just can't lane because he doesn't have Ghost Walk. But the fact that this guy has 50 last hits and has a game right now is problematic, because this is a matchup in which he should have absolutely no game. So I would just say, like, I've seen a lot of people say that, oh, Abaddon beats Broodmother, but when I saw people say that, it was in the context of people that weren't killing the Abaddon when Brood was level 3 or 4. Like, these matchups, killing at the right time really matters, because, like, let's say you're against, I don't know, an Underlord, or you're against an Earthshaker. You can only kill those heroes like once you have a Diffusal Blade. But with Invoker, like, you can kill this hero as soon as you get even level 2, you can probably kill the Invoker as long as you have enough spiders. Like, you really want to put as much harass with those spiders onto the Invoker as you can, because there was a while there where he was like 1 level behind you, but this guy should be feeding like the Darkseer is, because this is a complete hard counter matchup. So basically all I'm saying is kill this guy at level 2 or level 3. You need to feel a lot stronger when you actually are, you know?
Yeah.
He doesn't do anything to clear the spiders. What does he do?
Right, and it goes back to the point of, if you were destroying this Invoker harder, then the other lanes would be rotating to help him out and losing their lanes as a result.
And you'd probably be killing them too, honestly, because it's a Crystal Maiden.
Right, and so
I don't know, with Troll or something.
That's the biggest takeaway, I think, is that, like, don't be satisfied with just like winning the lane that you're supposed to win. Win it so hard that the other lanes are won because the other team makes a mistake of not sacrificing their mid laner, which is what most pub teams are going to do. They're going to all come to try and reinforce, because the Invoker's going to be like, oh, this Broodmother, he's so big, he's going to kill us all. And then everybody's going to come, you're going to kill them all, and then you're going to win the game.
Within that kind of train of thought, you were farming your own side of the jungle, and you could have been cutting behind the wave. Once again, this is very similar to like the Tinker matchup where he drops a March, he drops a Meatball, and it kind of feels like, oh no, it's gonna kill my spiders, but it fucking won't. It really won't. Like it's a feign. Like it's not reality. Like these heroes cannot, they can deal with your spiders eventually if you give them the space, which you did. We saw Meatball dropped on your spiders and it cleared them, but that's because he was like level 7. At level 2 or 3, Invoker cannot kill the spiders at all. A Meteor does almost no damage. So you need to like cut the wave. You don't just need to, like, you need to dive him. You need to put damage on him. You need to cut the wave behind his tower because that's going to apply more pressure. This is a lane where you cannot just farm. You can apply an immense amount of pressure. Where people would farm their own jungle, that's when it's too difficult to cut the creep wave. Like if you're against a counter matchup, then you just get your own farm because that pressures them that they're not countering you hard enough. But you're the counter matchup, so you're the one that has to apply pressure. So you should be behind his tower cutting. You should be sending spiders into the tower doing damage to him because he's the person that can't deal with you, but he did because you weren't applying enough pressure to him. And
okay.
That alone is like game winning.
So one final question from this replay is, now that he has applied enough pressure to bring everybody, like literally the whole team is here, what do you do?
Go to tier 1s. You farm jungle and go to the other tier 1s. Yes,
okay.
You want to essentially like yo-yo the enemy team around the map. If there's 5 of them, you can't kill them. If there's like 2 or 3 of them, you can probably just run at them and kill them, force more people. But this is like an ideal state for Broodmother. Like you basically apply pressure mid, everybody shows up, you go to farm, and then the pressure is on them because you're farming, but they have people mid trying to deal with you, and then they leave, so you bring them back mid, causing them to feel that pressure again because they need to deal with you because they have people there, but then you're farming. Like that's the ideal state for Broodmother, and in this situation, it doesn't. They're getting a kill on your Darkseer, so what would apply the most pressure to them would probably be just to rotate to this bottom tier 1, force them to come down there. They go down there for all 5. Well, you can't fight them. Go to the tier 2. They can't walk over trees and walls. You can. Like this will get your team so much more farm if they're dealing with you in that way. And yeah, your team will just win the game for you as Broodmother. A lot of the time, these Broodmother mid pickers are not winning the game because they're 1v5ing. No, people will not get like a Rax at 15 minutes as much as that's like fantasized about him with these Broodmother players. It's like, oh, I'm going to pick Broodmother mid, I'm going to be against an Invoker, and I'm going to Rax at 15 minutes. You can't Rax versus 5 people. It's just not possible. The way these Broodmother mid players are winning is they're causing their team to get so much farm because the enemy team is spending so much time dealing with them. Oh, I was seeing the Battle Fury, and I thought it was Brood going Battle Fury for a second. I was about to lose my mind. Yeah, essentially what I'm saying is like, you force the enemy team to get such little farm, your team farms because of the space, and then Broodmother still farms. So it's just a stomp in that regard, but it's not really you 1v5ing. That's one thing that for Broodmother I had to learn because I went into games expecting to 1v5, but you can't 1v5. You can't run in and Rax. You couldn't run in and fight this. It's just not possible. So you need to do something that's almost as good, which is essentially yo-yoing them around the map, and then your team can 5v5 them because you'll have more items.
Right. Okay. So let's go on to the next replay. I think that's a really good place to end. I mean, this is about as inefficient as the other team could be. All 5 heroes in one place, nobody hitting creeps.
Yeah, that's pretty good stuff. Yeah, if I'm Broodmother, I'm cool with this. Okay, let me go. Minosh was messaging me, so I was reading it. He was talking about the haters on the last video. They're saying I have a high-pitched voice and shit. It's like, come on, man. I'm just kidding. Okay. Prince Invoker mid. All right. I don't know if we've done any of Prince's replays.
I'm not sure.
He's a newbie. He says, I had a pretty okay mid. I was lagging a bit. Oh man, let me tell you about lag. I would not go mid with lag. Like I've been playing.
I play Invoker.
Support.
Invoker.
Yes, so you're the Invoker. So though things went well in the laning stage, I believe I had 0 impact in the game after Ember Spirit got 6, where he just snowballed and wrecked my team and I. We were having a fun game, hence the Daggins. Ultimately, I don't know how I can contribute more in these types of games, as well as anything you guys can identify that I need to work and improve on. So general replay analysis. So he said the laning stage went relatively well. So if you want, we can like quickly go over that.
Yeah,
just,
I guess My interpretation of what he's saying, I mean, I think I can just make an assumption is that he's going to have an opportunity to do more in the laning stage. Like, I think that that's basically all the laning stage we've ever looked at in replay review is that somebody could always be more aggressive. They could always be more efficient. They could always miss less last hits, and they could make less like bad rotations. I will say that Ember Spirit is really good against Terrorblade and Mirana, and pretty good against Skywrath Mage if Sky doesn't have like a decent amount of farm just because it's so squishy. So you have 3 heroes that Ember's pretty good against. Pudge basically does nothing to Ember as well. So this is a pretty tough game.
Invoker is a hard counter to Ember.
Yes, that is true. That's what I was going to finish that off with is you just tornado off the Flame Guard. So you should be able to kind of own him in lane and nullify the fact that he's good against the rest of the heroes in your game.
Yep. Pretty typical heroes in this game. No like meme heroes or jungle invoker or Darkseer AFK.
Darkseer AFK.
Oh my god. Jorge just wanted people to see that game wasn't his fault. So we laid into him again.
That's what you gotta do, man.
So you get Jorge.
Alright. Big ol' pause. A whole lot of all chat going on right now.
Well mannered though. I definitely appreciate the good manners. Just letting it be paused. You know.
Yep.
Especially in a party game. A lot of people wouldn't do that. Especially in North America.
Yeah, that's for sure.
I'm just assuming that Prince is North American for some reason because I am, but that's a terrible assumption. Ah, missed CS. He missed the CS. I saw him.
I actually wanted to ask. I wanted to ask because I'm not a mid player, and I know that you play a lot more mid than I do. In a scenario like this, where the creep wave is getting split like this, and there's like kind of a double wave, do you want to pull it all the way in between your tier 1 and tier 2 and just like farm here? Is this like the correct place to have the creep wave be?
I would say you can just pull it in front of your tower. Like the thing with the mid lane is it bounces back and forth between the towers so frequently that controlling the lane isn't really that important. It's honestly more about just getting the CS, and it's way easier to do if you're just holding it in your tower. Invoker has tons of regen, so you don't need to worry about like tanking it. I think it's just like fear of taking damage from the creeps. It actually caused a missed CS, but
right.
The only place that like you should really be concerned about keeping the creep wave is like right here. Like if you can safely tank the creeps in front of this location to keep the creeps here, so Ember has to fight uphill into you, then that's good. Or like if you're pushing behind the enemy tower, and zoning him so he's at his tier 2, like that's a creep location that's important. But I don't think like pulling the creeps between your tier 1 and tier 2 matters that much. It's just kind of missing UCS. Because look how quickly these lanes bounce back and forth.
Right, now it's coming back towards you, especially because this is hitting the creep, so this is going to be under your tower next. Yeah, it's definitely much harder to freeze the wave. I don't know, would you consider going for like early Wex in this matchup so you can take off the Flame Guard and threaten him? Or are you happy with just going for a standard Quas Exhort build here?
I think people there's like a few ways to approach it. I think as long as you go Wex as your next point, I think that's a decent way. Like people will use they'll use Alacrity to hit the Ember.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then do this. Get the point in Tornado. You could Tornado for that last hit there and like send out Clarity, but
yeah, we've seen a huge amount of last hits, so I'd say number 1, if you want to have a better game, you want to have more impact, you need more creeps. And if I remember correctly, let's actually go back and look at this. I think you only have like 135 CS. 118 CS as an Invoker in 37 minutes. That's really, really low. Incredibly low for this hero.
Yeah, he's like a hard farming hero. He's like an anti-mage.
Yeah.
For the most part, like you split push far. Like an Invoker's biggest strength is that he can very safely and quickly push out and farm waves and jungle camps without putting himself in any danger. And then you can go like you can farm at twice the speed of most heroes and do it safely. So you definitely really want to focus on like getting a lot of creep kills, because it's kind of about like having an advantage and showing up at really good fights. Like this hero is basically a carry.
Yes, he has a carry. Okay, so I mean I think that was good. I think that's what you could be doing more, is just you know, you have the high ground advantage and you're a ranged hero against a melee hero who has to play in the creep wave. So I would just continue to abuse him with Cold Snap and your Forge Spirits as much as possible. Forge Spirit is incredibly good against Ember Spirit, just because.
Oh, sorry.
Good.
I just had a thought. I'm just like, I'm putting myself in this game, and I'm thinking like, if I'm against an Ember, I'm just whacking the living shit out of that guy.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
He's never gonna stop getting whacked. And then I don't want to just spam out my Cold Snap and Tornado and things like that, because you don't have that much mana, right? But when that's why you whack him, because you're forcing him to either commit to you and whack you back, or he takes free damage. And if he does commit to you, that's when you use Cold Snap.
Yes.
That's when you use the Tornado. So I think that there has been in this replay so far, there has been a lack of hitting him.
Yes.
And when you have committed to him, it hasn't necessarily been because of that purpose, where it's like you're committing to him due to him committing to you and realizing you can get a bunch of free damage on him and potentially kill him. Like that's how you kill him in this matchup. Is
like right now.
He should, he should be like 60% HP at all times in this matchup. And then when he uses Flame Guard or runs at you or does anything, you just Cold Snap and use spells on him and he can't do anything. Like that's how you win this matchup in my opinion. Like he shouldn't have anywhere near as much of a good lane as he has right now. Like the CS is, or he's level 40, you're 5, but he has more CS than you. He's got 2 range creeps pushing into him. So
yep. And I also don't think that you need to. Somebody in chat was saying that he needs to be aggro pulling. I don't even think you need to be aggro pulling. You just need to be standing here and punching him in the face. And the creeps will kind of pull to you sometimes, but you know, like right now, why is he allowed to be here? Like this is kind of your area to control right now, because you have the high ground advantage and range and damage advantage. So like there's really no reason for him to be able to walk up and just kind of like, he's not even going up here and then coming down for like CS as they get low. He's literally just standing in the river near the creep wave.
The thing with Invoker too is that you have the Quas Orb, so like even if he does somehow miraculously dodge your Tornado and trade with you, you still have the regen advantage always on Invoker. It's like the reason that he's a counter to Queen of Pain is that you can just trade with her, and she's great at trading, but then you just regen it on Invoker, and she doesn't regen it. She doesn't have Quas Orbs. But this guy's like, not only does he have no regen, like he loses the regen war, he's also a melee hero who should absolutely be getting punched and punished a lot more. I think you're playing very scared. You're playing very scared and
incredibly scared
right now. When you could literally be sitting on his high ground, and there's nothing that he could do about it. His supports could rotate, but that's excellent if you're forcing the supports to rotate mid, because you probably won't even die. Like if they come mid, you just Tornado them or Meteor them or just cast any spell, and they just have to screw off because it's an Ember Spirit. He gets totally countered by your hero.
Yeah, and to be honest, I'm really not sure why you're scared, because both enemy heroes are showing in both lanes. So it's like, and even if they weren't, even if it was a Jakiro or a Earthshaker that was rotating on you constantly, I feel like you're still not really in any danger of dying, because what are they going to do? Like all their damage is from the Flame Guard, which you can just remove with Tornado immediately. So yeah, I think that the positioning just looks very scared. Like I would just permanently be trying to push myself to be more aggressive if I was you in your games.
Well, you can take this Sage creep, hit the creeps, and like hit his tower, force him back, force people mid. And if you do feel like you're in any danger, once again, this goes back to the fact that Invoker is one of the strongest heroes at just very safely pushing out waves. You can just Meteor the wave and then go jungle, Meteor the wave and then go jungle, Meteor the wave and then go jungle, and then you've double the CS right now. And then he's the same level, but you're level 7. Like, but I think you can get more out of this lane by punishing him and by pressuring him and by stopping him from farming and pushing the tower, etc. I think you can get more by doing that. But even if you didn't want to do that, I still think that you could push the wave and then jungle, push the wave and then jungle, because you're kind of just waiting for CS to occur here and then getting them. And if you're in like a free lane and you can't pressure the tower, then you'll literally get more by just killing these creeps, and now you go jungle.
Yep.
kill the creeps, and then you go jungle. But you're just kind of waiting for every wave. So there's a lack of things that could be happening here that aren't happening. Like, you could be pressuring the tower while doing the same stuff. You could be jungling while doing the same stuff. You could be getting runes while doing the same stuff. Like, there's essentially actions that could be occurring that aren't occurring. There's like wasted time.
A huge amount of
wasted
time.
Wasted potential, I should say.
Yeah.
And it's not like it's not difficult potential to realize in terms of like it's not something that requires these crazy calculations or anything to basically, like, you want to make sure that you're getting, I guess a good way of thinking about it is like, if you're laning like this, like just doing general laning, there's like, you're getting half the effectiveness out of the lane, because you could be getting all of this farm while jungling. You could be getting all this farm while getting runes, while ganking, or if you push the wave, you could be getting all of this farm still while pressuring the tower. Like, you see how in every one of those cases, which aren't super difficult to execute, there's more that you could be getting off the map. And the thing is, it's with the jungling, it's a really simple example because you're literally going to get almost double the gold. But with pressuring the tower, it's a little bit less obvious because it's gold that the enemy team wouldn't be getting because they'd have to deal with your pressure, and the tower pressure will eventually amount in gold. So it's kind of like gold that will eventually realize itself in a little bit more of a complicated way. But at the very least, if you want to go to the bottom line and just get more farm in the mid lane and you have no idea what else to do, just push the wave and go jungle. You will get twice the amount of farm.
Yep.
And you'll be less gankable. Like, you won't have to worry about getting ganked. That is always what I do when people force me to go mid in this patch. When I'm lagging, when I don't necessarily understand how to play mid, I'll pick Necrophos, push the wave jungle, push the wave jungle, push the wave jungle. I don't need to know how to play the matchup. I will be the most farmed hero on my team because you get all of the mid wave farm. You're super safe doing it. You're going to be the highest level on your team, probably on the enemy team, especially if you're fast at farming jungle and fast at farming the creep wave.
Yep.
That's mid now. Mid is always looking to just get the most out of the game because they can. That's really it.
Yep. Yeah, so I would say I think it would be kind of fun to just kind of give like a little prescription to each person, almost like a doctor prescription of what you could do just to go practice for the next week. So I would basically say for the next week, there's two things that you should do. Number one, I mean, it kind of honestly looks like I feel like this matchup has basically just been like a demo mode lobby. That's how it feels like you've been playing it. Like, there's just no aggression whatsoever. There might as well not be an Ember Spirit in the lane based on how the matchup has been played. So I would say, number one, practice some last hits in the last hit trainer with Invoker. And number two, go watch like 5 or 6 replays of Thompson, Miracle, SCCC, maybe like Sumail, like those invokers, and just watch what they do with their time. And just pay attention to what they do with their time when they're pushing the wave, when they're like doing stuff. Because right now, like, you're a gold tier invoker. You've obviously played this hero a lot. You know how to like invoke the spells and stuff like that. But it doesn't really feel like you know what you should be doing when as well as you could. And so I think that if you go watch somebody who like really knows and plays the hero at a professional level, just how they use their time in the lane, I think that could really help you a lot.
It's not really even necessarily like an invoker thing. Like
Yeah.
Donnie said, you're gold tier. I've seen a lot of gold and platinum tier players that are low, whatever the highest rated thing is, like level 25. I've seen people that will say, oh, I'm rank 10 on Dota buff. I'm platinum tier on this hero. And it's like, well, that's good, but what we've seen is not a misunderstanding of Invoker. It's like a misunderstanding of how mid lane is currently played by people in the laning stage. There's always this like twice as effectiveness. For a while, the mid lane was just about like bullying the other person off the creep wave, like kind of what you were doing, except with a little more aggression. But now it's all about getting double. It's all about getting the wave, tower, getting the wave, ganking, getting the wave. It's always getting the wave and then something else. And if you're not doing that something else, you're missing half. You're missing half the effectiveness of a typical high skill mid player. And that's just in the current patch. It might change, but that's how it currently is right now. You need to be getting that other half of the mid lane somewhere.
Yep. All right, next replay. And yeah, watch Sumaya, Sumia, whatever.
See, so we got Cypher 10597 here. He says, Hi guys, I'm a new patron. Hello, thank you for supporting us. We appreciate that. I'm moving into a
Yes.
new place soon, actually, and let me tell you, rent is expensive, so I do genuinely appreciate that more than ever. Doom off lane in this clip. Laning was okay, but after the Quap mid from the enemy team destroyed bot, my Invoker mid and AM safe lane, I would like to know what could I have done in their case? Assuming that means that.
In that case, yeah.
I always press that. I always pronounce the misspellings because it's funny. I always type quickly like that and just misspell shit all the time too. People can usually tell because it's the internet.
Yeah, if you haven't learned to read autocorrects at this point in your life, then I don't know what you're doing.
It's crazy that that's actually true. Like, somebody could send me this scrambled with message with no words, and I'll know what it means, and I'll just know that their hand was one left on the keyboard when they typed it. You know what I mean? But like, if somebody says, what the fuck, and it has a J in the fuck, I just read that as what the fuck. Because you know that they're just scrambling to type that, and they put the J in there as they're pressing the K.
Yes.
As their finger goes from the C to the K. Anyway, so...
Okay, so what is he? Oh, Doom offlane. Doom offlane,
I
okay.
believe he was Doom. He was Doom. He or she, we don't know. Cypher is a gender ambiguous.
Sure. So it's a third pick Doom. So he picked it into just looking at Queen of Pain for reference. So there's a Queen of Pain in the game.
The Crystal Maiden.
After the Crystal Maiden, yes.
Yeah, with the Crystal Maiden. So you know you have the aura to work with at least.
Yep.
And presumably you'd know what role she's in. I'm assuming her icon was probably placed somewhere. So it is definitely revealing of probably a 4-role CM, right? Yeah, it looks like it. So they know what your offlane is.
And they picked a Luna into you, which seems like a pretty good matchup for Doom, just because Luna has to be very close to the creep wave all the time.
I'm not sure how I feel about skipping Stout Shield.
Yeah, I don't like that at all.
That seems ballsy, especially because you can now buy the Ring of Protection from the side shop. So if you really do want a Ring of Protection, you can just start with the Stout Shield, save gold, and then from the bounties purchase the Ring of Protection, which actually is a very common thing that Dooms do right now.
Yeah, because you definitely want some armor early because you have 0 base, but yeah. I definitely think that Stout Shield is just too valuable to have on an offlane melee hero. Especially facing 2 ranged heroes.
And this hero, because of the nature of, he runs up and he right-clicks somebody to do damage. Like, you're tanking creeps. I saw Mind Control go 2 Stout Shields on Bounty Hunter, because you know what Bounty Hunter does? He runs up and he right-clicks people with his Janata. So he's like, I'm going to be tanking a lot of creeps, and I'm going to go 2 Stout Shields because I know that this is something in the lane. So yeah, I would definitely, especially when you start with straight up Devour. Get the Quelling Blade, which is good. Definitely go for that first with the Stout Shield, though, preferably.
Yep.
It's a range creep. You preempt it in advance and walk over to go for it. That's good. A lot of people don't do that. Well, this is like ancient bracket, right? So this guy's pretty solid.
Relatively good mechanically, yes. Yeah, I think that
I like this preempting the range creep blast hits. This is good.
Yep, and using Devour to secure them as well when you need to. Like, that's, you don't really need to eat a creep over here necessarily as early as possible. You can use it Devour on the range creeps if you need to.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's just for the regen. I'm a little concerned about this like lack of a Stout Shield though, just because it's disallowed you from trading up until this point.
Yep. It does feel like you could be playing a lot more aggressively, but you realize that you'd be taking a lot of damage from the creeps. And the Stout Shield's really not so much for like tanking the Dazzle and the Luna. It's more so for tanking these creeps as you right-click the Luna over and over with your Infernal Blade. Because these creeps do 21 damage, and if you have a Stout Shield, you're blocking basically half of the damage that the creeps are doing to you, because they do 0, essentially, when you have a Stout Shield, if it procs.
Yep, which is why people will go for 2 Stout Shields if they're going to be tanking a lot of creeps.
Yep.
I'd probably go for Boots next, just because I think typically when you go for this sort of Doom build, you go for like a 2-1-2 with 2 points in the the Infernal Blade at this point, just
Yep.
because you don't have the kill potential without the second point in Infernal Blade probably, and you just want to keep harassing with the lower cooldown and higher damage on it. So you probably want to go for boots just so you can hit the Luna over and over again.
Yep. So he gets the boots. That's pretty good. I think. So you would go. Would you go 2-0-2 then 2-1-2? Okay.
Yeah.
Because you definitely want 1 point in Scorched Earth before level 6 so that you can actually run up to people and doom them and chase them down with that. I think like 99% of games is probably what you want to do. Have at least 1 point in Scorched Earth, and it scales pretty terribly now, so I think it's really just a value point in Scorch to get a kill with Doom at level 6, and then the rest of the time you're just maxing Devour and then Infernal Blade afterwards.
There's like 2 builds. You can max Infernal Blade. Actually, there's a few builds. You can max any of these spells. It's just with this build in particular, it's like some people would even completely skip the W because with the low points in the W and the E, you don't have all that much kill potential even with Doom. So that's why when we saw this build, like Chalice was playing this a lot at the start of the patch on Doom. It's more like you're a tanky frontliner and you use the Doom in fights, but that's your role isn't to like run people down.
Right,
so it's kind of like
your role is just to eat harass. You're just supposed to sit there and eat harass like the entire game.
You're a Timbersaw, yeah.
Yep.
You need to sit in this lane with Luna and eat harass all game.
Yep.
You get it?
I got it.
All right, that's good.
Okay.
I would turn the Basilius on right now, by the way, with the catapult wave pushing into you. Just like with the waves constantly pushing into you, you would want to have the Basilius on just so they can't like,
constantly shove.
Tower.
Yep. Yeah, just a little tiny micro adjustment you can make, but it'll keep your creep waves alive a lot longer, especially, presumably if Luna were to get glaives as well, or eventually will get glaives, it'll slow down the glaive bounces a little bit.
Yeah, well, it's just kind of like, it's like 2 armor, but it matters a lot for the creeps. It gives them like an extra couple of hits on each other, which gives you 5-10 extra seconds depending. So if you want the wave to push, you turn the Bassi on. If you don't want the wave to push, you turn the Bassi off. I think it's not correct in most situations to just leave the Bassi on or off, unless you strictly want to be pushing always or strictly pulling always. But there's very few situations in the laning phase where you want neither of those things to, like, it's not gonna be like you always want the lane to push. It's very rare that happens. There's gonna be give and take.
Right.
Anyway, we can see the first Doom here.
Yep, and I wanted to go back and talk about this because I think there's something that is really important that is misunderstood a lot. I think at like the lower MMRs of Dota, which is that once you get your big once you get your spells, you don't just immediately use them. There needs to be sort of like a setup process for getting a kill most of the time. It's not you very rarely get into a scenario where you can just see somebody at full HP and immediately go on them and immediately get the kill 100% of the time. Like, you need to actually assess, okay, obviously replay bug here, but you have the Doom off of cooldown. 145-second cooldown on this means that once you use this, the other team is not going to be scared of you at all. Like, they can essentially ignore that there's a Doom in the game for the next 2 minutes. So, using this Doom right away actually makes you a pretty kind of useless hero in some sense, because if you have the Doom, at the very least, you can spend a lot of time kind of just like feinting at the Luna and like pretending that you're going to go Doom her, and you can basically body her away from the creeps to get her to have less last hits, because you can threaten to keep her low enough to the point where she will be in Doom range. And I don't think that just running up and immediately dooming her, I mean, this is not enough damage to kill her regardless. But if you were to run,
maybe what's Bane's level? What does Bane have in the queue? What's his? That's a kind of cheeky combo. That does make Doom like 20 seconds.
Yeah, that is true.
I'm just thinking about that. It's like, was that why you'd made that play? In general, like,
maybe so. That's actually pretty interesting to think about. But
I mean, this guy should really just run over and use the shrine and then come back, and then you don't have Doom, and then he just lanes here when he shouldn't be able to without dying.
Right.
Yeah, which is exactly what he's going to do. So that was definitely a mistake. In general, this is something that when I was playing a lot of Doom, when I was learning Doom, I had to really internalize. It's like Donnie said, yes, you don't want to use the big cooldown. Like the threat of the cooldown is incredibly important, but it's also just like you have this Doom, right? And you have heroes on your team that can help you kill somebody, where even though you don't have the ability to like solo kill somebody with Doom, you can't run them down because you've 1 point in your W. You can't run them down with the Infernal Blade either. It does very little damage, and couldn't even get in range to hit him with the Infernal Blade because he's Luna, he's fast. You don't have phase boots at this point. But you could with the Crystal Maiden have a gank, or the Bane walks up, he uses the sleep, and then you Doom. Like, you want to go about the initiation, the gank, the Doom, at the right angle. Like, you don't want to just walk up and use it. Like, the issue there was you used it, and then the Luna ran out of range, but because Dota works like this, you still cast it because she's in vision, but then you're so far away that nobody can even catch up to her and do damage to her.
Yeah.
So now she's just chilling and farming in the jungle. You didn't force rotations. Force a rotation with the Dazzle, which is great, but you could be doing this with the Luna dead and already having forced rotations, giving your anti-mage, who you said was feeding, total free farm. Like, there's a lot more that could have been accomplished with that first Doom.
Right.
And it's like, if you're an Enigma too, you don't want to just walk up in Black Hole. You want somebody to actually come and set that Black Hole up. You want to execute a proper gank with that Black Hole, and until that happens, they're going to be terrified of, why is this guy holding this ability? Well, this guy has Black Hole. We have to kill him. We have to deal with him. And that's great. That's great if you're one of these heroes and the enemy team is feeling that way about you.
Right.
Because they're going to waste a lot of time trying to deal with you.
Yeah, and that's the biggest thing that I was trying to point out is like, you can just do so much with the threat of killing somebody. It like psychologically wears them down. It makes them play much worse. They're going to CS worse. They're going to be less efficient with their moves because they're just always worried about being doomed.
So now CM rotates. So this is great. This is an excellent situation. You don't need to use the Doom on her, or on the what's her face. But
Willow.
Yeah, this is good. This is good stuff. Like when the CM rotates. I guess that's the thing. Is it's like it's weighing the fact that when you consider the fact that the threat of Doom has this value, and a gank has a potential chance of failing if you're not waiting for the CM to rotate. You need to weigh the value of using the Doom and wasting it in that risk and reward calculation. Basically, that's kind of the important thing. So she just gets away, but yeah, that's kind of the important thing. Is that, like, if a gank isn't guaranteed to succeed with Doom, it's not that big of a deal if you don't use it, because you have that value of the Doom being a threat.
Right.
It's not that you shouldn't use Doom. If you can use Doom and it's a guaranteed kill, use it by all means. If
Yes.
it's on a Luna, absolutely use it.
Yes.
It's more like you just have to weigh that into the calculation, that there's that threat of Doom being there if you don't use it, and that's still a good thing.
Yep, and the same thing goes for Void Chronosphere, for Enigma Black Hole, for Magnus RP, for Tidehunter Ravage. Like, all of these things provide both a threat and also a guaranteed kill if executed correctly. And that's the really nice thing about these abilities, because if you pick your spot correctly, you are guaranteed to kill any hero in the game, basically.
Yep.
And
It's pretty bullshit.
Yeah, it is pretty bullshit, and that's why those abilities are so good, and that's also why they have such long cooldowns, and, you know, you can play around those cooldowns, because otherwise it would just be completely imbalanced. But you can make it feel like it's not balanced if you just make sure that you're like, okay, CM, come up here, we're going to kill this Luna, she's in vision, I have Doom, you know, buy a smoke, come up here, we'll just immediately kill her. And then Luna's like, there's literally nothing I could do. And then she's probably going to yell at her supports like, why didn't you come help me, blah, 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 blah. And, you know, I mean, you can see the fact that you have Doom is making this Luna just jungle. Like, you're freely taking this tower just because you are a Doom with Doom off of cooldown. So you can see the effect that it's having. Okay.
Right, I want to look at what happens next. Okay, so takes the tower, which is good. Where did the TP come to? So we TP. Where did Doom TP to?
You TP into the trees here.
Okay, so to the bot lane.
I think this rotation is okay.
This is a fine space to occupy.
Yeah.
Because it's the dead lane, and you're putting yourself in the area where the enemy team has to go on you as the tankiest hero on your team. Fighting on your shrine, this is good. You guys should just be chilling on the shrine right now, I think. Use the shrine so Bane can get healed. and unfortunately the Queen of Pain ultimate comes through. This is a good place to fight. This is a good fight.
Oh, you walked over to Crystal
Careful with
Man.
the Enigma. Careful with the Enigma. Oh boy. Oh nice. That anti-mage was sick.
I would definitely be dooming the Quap. Okay, good, you do.
So anti-mage needs to not be fighting here. This is a problem. This should be space created for the anti-mage, but it looks like your entire team is here, so this is not good. Luna is getting free farm right now because of this.
Yes. Okay, so I mean, a little unfortunate. You guys whiffed some spells to not kill that Quap, and now Quap comes back in.
God, these fights last so long.
They last so fucking long. And part of that is just because, like, of the route that you take. We're spending a little bit longer on this replay, but I think this is kind of important. So, okay, this fight happens. You know, I think that you got CM killed there because you walked into her with Cursed Crown on, but that's okay. Quap is getting away. You know, I think that running at them is fine. You want to kill this Quap if you can. I think you used phase boost a little too early there. That's okay.
I think that's when you leave.
At this point, yes. I mean, you can kill this Dazzle because he's right here. I
don't know. I don't even think that's worth it. Like, I really think that there needs to be a purpose for like these rotations because there's a couple
but
of
chilling
ways...
here makes no sense, right?
No. But like there's a couple of ways that you can. I think that you're playing this style of Doom incorrectly. Like the way that you want to play this very tanky, beefy frontliner Doom is you're either running at towers because your team is much stronger, which you aren't because you have Invoker AM and fighting as a team. But the fact that your Invoker and AM are showing up to fights is because they're bad players. They shouldn't be doing that with these heroes. So the way that you want to play is you want to be a space creator, and you either do that top and your team takes the space bot, or you do that bot and your team takes the space top. I think it is a correct move to TP to the bot lane once you take the tier 1 tower top, because that area becomes very safe for your team to occupy because there's one less tower there for the enemies. So therefore you can take bot. The enemy team has that area completely warded, but you are this unkillable wall that's there, and that's a problem for them. So I think you going bot is correct, but you should be bot alone, and you should be bot making space, maybe with a support or with two, but your Invoker and your Anti-Mage should be top. And as long as your Invoker and your Anti-Mage are not going to where you think they should on the map, you should go elsewhere. Because this style of Doom is purely either a tanky frontliner. Think of it as a Timbersaw. It's a tanky frontliner, runs at you hero, where the team is strong enough to 5-man, which you aren't because it's Anti-Mage Invoker, or you're making space somewhere on the map. And that was not making space. That was fighting. That was as if your team had taken a bunch of space and you were ready to fight. But
yeah.
that was just a fight to fight, which is bad. You should never do that in Dota. Like, fighting should always be with a specific purpose. So I think I get the fact of why you ran at them, because you're Doom and you feel strong, you feel tanky, but it's actually incorrect in this game for your whole team to be in that area. And I know that's a hard problem to solve if like your Anti-Mage and your Invoker are looking to fight, but I think that's something I would communicate to my team. I'd be like, all right, I'm just going to sit down here, let them kill me, let them deal with me. You guys go take the lane. Like that's actually always something that I say when I see somebody rotating out of a lane, and then they say something like, "Oh, my Slardar should have been farming there." If you rotate out of a lane, it's 50% on you to tell your team that you're rotating out of that lane, and 50% on them to know that you're rotating out of the lane. Like, yes, they need to look, but it's also up to you to realize that top lane is free farm for anybody that goes up there.
God, look how tanky you are.
Yeah, he's super tanky. So it's fine to be fighting with the Invoker, but you guys are once again fighting around where the Anti-Mage is. So it's like, this is a very inefficient way of playing. You could see that you're getting kills, and you still have less than a 1k gold lead, because this just isn't an efficient way to play Dota.
Yeah, you have 5 heroes around an area with no objective to take. Like, unless you're planning on taking this tower, you guys should not be here at all. You should be here, or you should be here.
Look at all the space bot that nobody's taking right now.
Like, nobody has farmed any of this for the last, like, 3 or 4 minutes.
And once again, this is like a very team-oriented thing, but this is something you can communicate to your team, and something that, as an offlaner, I often communicate to my team, because, like I said, people always use it as an excuse that your team should know this stuff, and they should, but that doesn't absolve you of the fact that you should also know this and communicate this. Actually, that's something BSJ said to me when I was playing in a team with him. It's like, it's on the supports, it's on the anti-mage, it's on the invoker to know where they need to be farming, know where they need to be playing, but they didn't lane against the Luna. They didn't know the Luna was jungling this whole time. They didn't know how fucking easy the top lane was. You do, and you can communicate that. You can say, top lane is free farm. Somebody go farm top, and then you put yourself in the bot lane and create a ton of space.
Right.
And I actually think your TP to the bot lane is amazing. I've seen Seb do this, where he takes the tier 1 tower. Some anti-mage goes and farms in that area because basically he's like, all right, I'm a good offlaner, and let me spoon feed you a good game on a golden platter. So he takes the tower, which is the hardest thing to do, and then the anti-mage, this area is total free farm, and Seb, he could be greedy, he could just farm that area and get huge, but he says, here, anti-mage, you can have some, and I'll deal with the difficult area, which is the bot lane, because the whole enemy team is around there, and I'm tanky, and I'm high skill, so I'm going to go deal with that. So that was great. You should do that, but the fighting is really what has been an issue. And once again, I think this is something you should communicate to your team, because as an offlaner, you know that this is an effective way for you to play. You know that this is what's going to win you games, and people will listen. If you tell somebody, hey, top is free farm, people love to hear that.
Yeah. They're like, ooh, give me that gold. Or you can literally be like, hey, guys, I am very strong right now. Just follow me bot. Like, sometimes they will, sometimes they won't. But you could definitely be down here just kind of like walking down this lane. If the whole enemy team is not showing, you can just back up and jungle these 2 camps, wait for somebody to show, walk up this tower again, wait for somebody to show, like jungle these 2 camps, walk up this tower again. And you can kind of see that because you guys are just like, anti-mage was top, he farmed this a little bit, he pushed the wave up too far to where he doesn't feel comfortable. You guys are all mid. You guys are kind of near him. So what does he do? He TPs to the bottom because nobody is here. If you were here taking this space, Anti-Mage would not come down here. And now Anti-Mage is in a spot that is really, really bad for him.
What is he doing? Oh, he can't get anything in this game.
Yeah, he can't get anything because the only farm that's actually available is in the worst place possible for him to be.
And he's not gonna run past his whole team because there's no farm there because your team is there farming it. That's why when you have an anti-mage, when you have an invoker, when you have a Terrorblade, you need to be playing opposite to them. You cannot be on the same side of the map as them, and that can be on the anti-mage to make that call. That can be on an offlaner to make that call. But I feel like as an offlaner, especially with how strong you are in this game, it actually leans more towards being on you to make that call where you say, I'm really strong, I'm gonna make space, take the space, or I'm gonna be mad. And people would be like, hell yeah, I want some space.
Right.
That's great. Like that's perfect for these greedy ass carry players. Dude, let me tell you, they love it.
Yeah, I mean, this dude picked anti-mage because he literally doesn't want to do anything but hit creeps and like never see you or his teammates or the enemy team for the entire game.
He's 1-9 because he was always on the same side of the map of his team.
Yep.
And once again, this is an offlaner thing that you can do if you're playing Doom, if you're playing Beast, if you're playing Sven, any of these incredibly hard to kill guys. It is a perfectly valid play to just put yourself in the most dangerous place and make yourself a massive pain in the ass for the enemy team and tell your team, take the free farm that I'm spoon feeding to you, please. And you'll win a lot of games by doing that. You'll have a lot of deaths, but you'll be the one that won the game for your team.
And let me tell you one other thing. If your team, I'm sure that many of you in chat are probably like, well, I can't talk to my team in C. Nobody listens. Everybody's an asshole. Or I can't talk to my team in South America. I can't talk to my team in North America. Nobody listens. Guess what? If another player, another core shows up to your lane and just starts taking the creeps, are you going to stay there? Probably not. So even if your team will not listen to you, if you go to the lane that the anti-mage is in, if you go to that bottom lane and the anti-mage is there, and you go to that bottom lane and you start taking his CS, he's going to fucking leave. He's going to go somewhere else. He's going to be pissed at you, but he's going to go to a better location because you forced him to go somewhere else. All right, next replay.
It's actually something I realized smurfing, watching my brother-in-law play and stuff like that, is that if you're just playing good Dota, it'll force other people to do it.
Yep.
Even idiots, because idiots are still driven by impulse.
Yeah, exactly.
You could force people's impulses. It's like if you have like a pawn in chess and you're about to take somebody's queen, even an idiot's going to move the queen away from that, because they don't want to lose their queen. That's the most fun piece. Anyway.
Yeah.
Let's see.
So basically temporarily sabotage your teammates for the greater good. I mean,
yeah, sure.
Yeah, kind of. As long as you're not like tiny tossing them into the enemy tower just to feed them.
Hey man, I've done that. Zabby says, I was CK. I lost like a fucking noob, so my question is, how do you play CK offlane to actually win some games?
Cool. I think that this is pretty relevant in the current meta. Seems like one of the best heroes in the game, especially in the offlane role.
Yep. It's a good hero. Apparently you did pretty decently.
Got a bunch of kills because you're CK. No BKB is a travesty, but other than that, your items look fine.
Not a huge fan of Echo Saber, but
I think, actually, yeah, Echo Saber is no longer good on CK. I changed my mind. Your items suck. I also don't like Manta on CK. I think Blink BKB should replace Echo Saber and
Blink is amazing.
And Manta. Alright, so it's going to be CK against a PA, looks like. PA Shadow Shaman. Okay, Viper is here as well. I mean, dude, you can see just how abusive this hero is with your crit. Like, you just man-fought a Viper and a PA by yourself, pretty much. And killed the Viper.
I'm bad boy, and I am muted. That's hilarious.
Oh, what the fuck? Is this a Viper support? No, they're both cores. Okay. This is Guardian, so this is the kind of thing that will happen here.
Not a huge fan of. So there's 3 creeps pushing into you. That is the least optimal time to look to trade.
Yes.
We talked about this in like one of the recent replay reviews. If they have more creeps, you don't harass them unless you're guaranteed to kill them. You have more creeps, that's when you harass them. You don't just arbitrarily choose to harass. Like, you do it when it's effective. And creeps, they do a lot of damage if you're level 1.
Yes.
A lot of damage.
Even though we just talked about how good Stout Shield is at blocking damage from creeps, 50% of the time, you're literally taking 60 damage a second, which is not good. That's a lot of damage right now when you have 600 HP. As you can see, you take a huge amount of damage. You're going to die here, I think, almost 100%. Yeah, I can't imagine a scenario where you don't die here. And that was 100% avoidable.
Once again, here's your prescription for this week. We don't even need to look at the rest of this lane, because this is already a bad lane.
Yep.
But your prescription for this week is hit the enemies when you have more creeps. Don't hit the enemies when they have more creeps. If you do that, you will have a lot better lanes, typically. Oh yes. My god, I just realized I boiled water a long time ago, and there's tea that I could be drinking right now.
Oh, Jesus. Okay.
This is important, Donnie.
Oh, I thought you were going to burn your house down. Alright. Well, we'll look a little bit more at this lane. I mean, I would say that even though he died there, it's almost kind of a one lane at this point because there's no there's no lane control for them. Like, you're getting a bunch of creep waves now. But essentially, if you're playing CK offlane, what you want to do is you just want to abuse this crit, which is kind of what he's doing now. But now, again, look at this. We're tanking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 creeps, aka 140 damage every second if you don't move. And if we, cut it in half because of Stout Shield, you're still taking 70 damage per second right now if you don't move. You're tanking 7 creeps at once.
More creep tanking? Oh, we are!
Yeah, I mean, you guys are going on him. There's 7 creeps hitting you. Like, there's absolutely no way that you can win this lane. And the thing is, like, you saw before the runes spawned, you killed 2 of them by yourself because CK trades so well with heroes. But when there's creeps involved, you do not trade with 2 heroes and creeps. So there's 2 deaths. In some sense, the lane is still kind of won because the creeps are here at your tower, so you can get way more in this lane than they would like you to get. But at the same time, you're going to miss a bunch of these last hits because you already TP'd back to the lane once, and you've died twice to a lane that you should not have died to.
That was just a totally unnecessary death.
Yeah.
That's all that was. It was totally unnecessary. Let me tell you, walking back to the wave, it's like one of the worst things that can happen in Dota. Having to walk back.
Yeah, like
so much downtime. It's like effectively dying 2 or 3 times depending on how fast your heroes. Luckily, you're a Chaos Knight with boots, so you get back a lot faster than other heroes would. If you're like a Necrophos and you die like that, your game is ruined. It's over. But because you're a CK, you know, it's still probably pretty bad, but it could be a lot worse.
Yeah,
you don't want to die without TP. Oh my god.
The last thing I want to say about this lane, because I really don't think that there's a whole lot more to talk about, because it really, like, your bad game comes down to the fact that you're tanking like 8 creeps while trying to harass. But if you do have a bad lane that should go well, you need to recognize that all of a sudden a lane that you should be playing aggressively can no longer be played aggressively. So you should actually suddenly go into like defensive offlaner mode where you are just happy to get any creeps that are near you at this point. Because if you're still trying to play aggressively, having fed them 2 kills, having used up all of your regen, you haven't used up much of theirs. Like, you know, you can still kind of play aggressive, but at the same time, I think that you guys are in like a massive disadvantage at this point, and you need, like right now, okay, Spearbreaker, he's got nothing. You guys are still killing them because you are playing 2 of the like most beefy like heroes in the game. But if you guys die one more time, I think that you literally have to just start like side pulling this camp and trying to get the wave here and just farming when you can.
It's like, so you can be killing them and the game can be going well despite these mistakes, but it could still be going way better.
Yeah.
Like what you did in terms of tanking the creeps is like never a good play. You could be killing them and trading with them just when it's better. Like you could be doing the exact same thing except 10 seconds later, and it's better and you won't die. And then they're stuck at level 2, you're level 5, and they can't come back to the lane. But instead, they're winning this lane when you guys should be utterly decimating them. Like they shouldn't be able to lane here at all.
Yep. And so, I mean, now you can't lane here anymore. That's the point I'm trying to make, is now that you've fed this Viper 3 kills, like, you can no longer play aggressively in this lane. You have to play differently. Okay, next replay.
It's simple as that, actually. It's so simple. Code Rad. He's playing Sven, your favorite, Donnie.
I have like a 20% win rate with Sven since the patch.
That's good, because he's my overrated hero in this week's Hero of the Week.
Nice. He doesn't feel nearly as good as he used to anymore. It's funny how...
not, and I'll explain why in that video if I can fucking upload it. That'd be great.
It's funny how many like little numbers tweaks and heroes that become popular, like Lifestealer poops on Sven to some extent. So yeah, it just doesn't feel good to play him anymore.
I was playing Sven. The match was relatively even. I know I missed a few BKBs. How could I improve my Sven plays? So maybe we just skip through the laning phase for this one. And
yeah, let's go to the fights. And actually, fights are one of the hardest things to do on Sven because he's so easily kiteable. You have to be really, really diligent about going into fights with a plan and targeting the right people.
I completely disagree.
Why is that?
I think because... Sorry, I don't want to chew in my mic. These are M&M cookies my girlfriend made, by the way. They're really fucking amazing. I can't have tea without eating one of these. It's bad. This is how I'm gonna get fat. It's like if there's cookies there, I'm gonna eat it. You know what I mean?
You know, you could exercise some self-control, but based on your history of based on our histories of binge queuing, self-control is not something that's ever gonna happen.
I have to control myself by not buying things, like by uninstalling Dota.
Exactly.
Anyway, I disagree because I think on offlane Sven, your job is to stun people, to use your shield.
Is this offlane Sven though? I think this is carry Sven.
Is this carry Sven? Then I'm not sure about this build. What role is this? Look, go to the Necrophos' items.
Necrophos has nothing. Necrophos went straight Dagon. It might have been a safe lane sniper. I don't know. Who knows?
Skip to the start of the game and just see where the lanes were.
Yeah, safe lane Sven.
Okay, so it is safe lane Sven. Okay, in that case, I think you should have a Midas. I think you should not have level 1 in your cleave. You should be maxing your cleave or having more points in it, especially considering in this patch, the cleave has been nerfed.
Yes.
Such that the level 1 point is much worse than it was before.
Yes.
So you need to have points in that cleave. Like you can go like 2 points in stun, 1 point in the shield or something like that, just for laning.
Whoa.
All right.
Why?
That's not good. That's not good. I disagree with that.
Yeah, I disagree with that as well. Okay, so yeah, we don't really need to talk about. I mean, if you're playing, here's the thing: if you're playing Sven as a killer, then you need to be very diligent about how you're taking your fights. If you're playing Sven as a tanky frontliner with your shield and just absorbing damage and doing a bunch of damage while you run in, then sure, you can do whatever the fuck you want. But if you need to specifically, I think that killing DP is pretty important in this game. At the beginning of the fight, so you need to make sure that you're picking DP to kill, or maybe the CM. You know, like you have to actually pick the heroes that you're going for.
Oh yeah,
on
sure.
Sven before you have BKB.
Because you don't have that much of an opportunity. Like after you're in the fight, they get away from you.
Yes.
You know, you have like very split second timings where you can get these heroes once the fight starts. If they see a big red guy jump in, it's like everybody's just getting out. You know, so
yeah.
You're spending. I can see that you're spending a lot of time farming and pushing waves, and that's going to be like significantly slower with the level 1 in the
cleave, yeah.
In the cleave. So like, I don't even think you needed to show up to this fight. Your team was just kind of winning that for you.
Yeah, but okay, so I think that this is fine. Like you guys push the tower, they're all respawning. You go to the farm that needs to be taken care of. You are the carry. I think that's good. I don't hate the build. It's not my favorite, but I don't hate it as far as like the items.
I hate it. I think you shouldn't have a blink. I think you should have a Midas. I think you should
a Midas.
Yes. Yep. I
think dude, he has 90% cleave. I disagree with that.
You should have some farming item then. Get like
Mask of Madness works for me.
Get Mask of Madness. Get Echo Saber.
Yeah.
Treads is fine. You should have a Quelling Blade. There's no way you shouldn't have a Quelling Blade with how many creeps you're hitting. Like,
yes, that as well.
Like the problem is like as a carry, your job is to push waves. Like you're the hero that should be applying pressure on the map by being that threat where the enemy team has to deal with you eventually. And then also pushing waves and pressuring towers. Like your team's gonna be fighting, and you need to be the person that's getting all the waves in. And without a Quelling Blade, that's just a lot slower. So it's like, I'm not even saying in terms of farming speed. I don't give a fuck about your farming. What I care about is the fact that without a Quelling Blade, without these items, they're going to help you kill creeps faster. You are pushing waves slower. Look how slow you're farming these.
Yeah, that's true.
You're relatively you're highly. You're level 18. You have Sange and Yasha, but really like you've 1 damage item.
Right.
So I think if you're walking up Echo Saber and Quelling Blade 2 hitting a wave, and then showing up to a fight, or doing that and then jungling and getting bounty runes, like you could get a lot more gold for yourself, for your team, and force the enemy team or essentially around the map.
Yeah,
that's like how you're essentially playing offlane Sven with kind of carry Sven, pseudo carry Sven items, which is fine because you have Sniper Necro. But if this was another game,
yeah,
it would be rough.
Yeah, and I mean the thing is like Sven is one of those heroes that kills waves faster than 98% of the other heroes in the game. Like, especially if you do, I actually think that Echo Saber crit is really good in this game, because if you can kill the DP and the Alchemist with like within 1 stun duration, that's like how you win your team fights pretty much on this hero. I think that Echo Saber is quite good at this game for that particular reason. But yeah, everything else that Jenkins is saying is really important. Like, one of the things that makes Sven so fucking good as a hero is the fact that you can just push waves faster than anybody else. And so if you're not utilizing that because you're not itemizing for it or you're not playing for that, then you should be playing a different hero. Like, based on how you're playing this hero, you should be playing Ursa or Lifestealer. Like, pretty much is what I would say, because you're just trying to fight constantly. And if you just want to fight constantly, pick a hero that wants to fight constantly. Don't pick a hero that pushes waves.
I think Midas is also a fine replacement for Echo Saber too, if you can be greedier, because it gives you attack speed, gives you a lot of attack speed.
That is true. The attack speed on Midas cannot be underrated at this point.
I think that that's like one of the big reasons that, like, you pick up a Midas on Lifesteal, you pick up a Midas on Chaos Knight on Sven, you farm so much faster.
Yeah.
Like,
I still hate it. I still hate Midas on Sven just because you have such good farming ability if you just use your farming ability. Like, just max your cleave.
It's true, but you'll get more, and you still get attack speed from it for, like,
sure,
and farming.
Yeah, I mean,
it's like I think, I mean, I'm not saying
that's fair.
I've seen it. I'm not saying it's like amazing or something. I'm just saying that it's good. It's a much more adequate choice than going for, like, this pseudo offlane build on Sven.
Yeah, I mean,
I
that's
do like Sanjin Yasha as an item, like on any Sven. I think that item is just incredibly good.
Yeah.
The status resist is nuts.
Yeah. And just to get into kind of the nitty gritty, we said Midas or Echo Saber or Mask of Madness. I think that Mask of Madness is the worst of the three options in this game, and here's why. Obviously, getting rid of your armor is not good against heroes that reduce your armor, like Alchemist, against high physical damage heroes like Death Prophet and Clinks. So while Mask of Madness might be really good on Sven in certain games, in this game, it's probably the worst of the three farming options that you could pick up.
Especially because the shield, it takes into account reductions.
Yes.
So the shield can actually give you less of a damage buff than it says on there if your armor is minus. Which obviously Mask of Madness won't make it minus, but if they minus armor you, your shield will resist like 100 damage or something.
Yeah, it'll be really bad.
It's pretty terrible. Technically speaking, if this shield didn't include reductions, you could get all the minus armors in the world on Sven and it wouldn't matter, but it does, which is, I guess, a blessing and a curse in that regard.
Yep. Okay, so let's go on to the next replay.
Let's see. Alchemy.
Banging them out today. We're just, here's your prescription. Here's your prescription. Here's some OxyContin. Make yourself feel better.
All right. This got real dark. All right, we got Hawkillionaire. This is our Smurf. Says, okay, so really interested in this one. This is the team I play for Battle Cups with pubs, IRL friends. 3 of us live together. That's cool. That's like a little team house sort of thing.
Yeah.
I feel we had a great early game. Where did I go wrong? And then he has a bunch of personal thoughts.
Yeah, he wrote us an essay.
Yeah, it's a god damn it, Hawkillionaire. It's always an essay because he's a 6K Smurf. He wants to have his ego stroked. Like, look how good I am.
You better strike it because he lost this one, so he needs that morale boost at this point.
He does. He does need the morale boost. This guy's like Kuroki coming in here, just messing with us plebeians. All right. So Hawkillionaire, he's I believe a support. So okay, so he's the Wyvern.
Yes.
God, do we even need to look at his laning? I feel like this guy's laning was superb before.
It was really good.
Really good.
We probably don't need to look at the laning.
Hawkillionaire is just a laning god.
I'm seeing 3 extremely greedy cores.
You know what would be great?
And 2 extremely greedy supports.
Meteor Hammer would be awesome. Meteor Hammer would be amazing in this game. You can combo with your ultimate, and you want to end early. You want to push towers.
Yep.
And they have Treant armor. So you can shred through that.
Yep.
With the Meteor Hammer. I love that item. I've been seeing people go for that.
All right, let's skip to like 15 minutes then. We're not going to look at the laning stage.
We all know Hawkillionaire killed it in the laning stage. So you guys have a 1k gold lead. 15 minutes in. Let's see. What's the tower situation like? You have gotten...
None of them. Just top
one tower. So once you've gotten one tower, you probably with a lead and against this many late game heroes, you want to group up and push some stuff.
Yeah, this Juggernaut is massively farmed, level 14. Meanwhile, your mid Monkey King is level 8. So that's kind of a problem.
Yeah, you want that Jug to be running around and like killing it. You can end the game with this Jug's strength right now.
Yeah.
Like having a 1k gold lead against Alchemist is
ridiculous.
It's extremely good because that guy just gets gold like very quickly.
Yeah.
So you don't want your Jug to be in this lane anymore. He's not in farm mode. He's in space crate mode. Your Monkey King got shit on in the lanes. Presumably your Centaur got shit on in the lanes. Jug did not. Jug needs to
now create space for his team.
Go to the other lane. Like the fact that you guys are up here is definitely incorrect. You want to go get the enemy safe lane tier 1, I think. Tier 2 is just sure maybe you can get it. It's just way harder and it doesn't even open up that much of the map. Like get that tier 2. What area do you secure for that?
Right. Yeah, nothing.
Nothing. You don't get anything for that, right? Like you don't take away any of the enemy team's area 2 either. Like a little bit of that jungle, but they still have the shrine. So you want to go take the enemy safe line tier 1 right now. That's what you want to do.
And you can facilitate that happening by going, number 1, making the call. Guys, let's go take bottom tier 1. Communicate that. Clearly you can. You're playing in a battle cup. Like, you guys live together. You know how to talk to your team. So make the call. Let's take the tier 1 bottom. Number 2, fly yourself out. 2 wards. Place a ward right here. Place a ward right here. Yep.
Yep. Take the mid tower. Secure their jungle until you have a lead. Take Roshan. Push high ground. They lose.
Yeah, this is a brand new ward that you place that doesn't really do anything for you because it doesn't actually secure much. It's okay if you're pushing the mid tower, but other than that, it doesn't do a whole lot for you.
You don't really want to occupy that area is the thing. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Your Jug shouldn't be farming up there. He should be coming to take this mid lane tower. Since you guys are all here, may as well take it. But I really think the correct rotation and the simplest rotation, easiest to execute, bottom tower, send out 2 wards, smoke through their jungle, place wards, take the mid tower, secure the area, choke them out, have somebody who's really strong farm top, the rest of you farm their jungle, they're stuck in their base, eventually you take Roshan, push high ground with a meteor hammer, maybe a couple meteor hammers, they lose. Like, that's how you win this game right now. But right now it kind of just seems like you guys are just fighting for arbitrary reasons in mid lane.
Yep, and one of the big...
You can see how hard the mid lane tower is to secure, though. You can see how hard it is to fight here for you. Even though you're strong, it's just way easy. They cannot defend that safe lane tier 1. That is the easiest tower in Dota to get. That is why everybody always takes it first. It is so hard to defend. If they do try to defend it, that's when you win the game.
Yeah.
Because they can't.
Yep. I would also...
This is just a waste of time.
Just huge waste of time. Completely unnecessary death. You guys, again, you should be down here. There's no reason not to be down here. You just play around your Centaur. You should tell your Jug to be the one that's creating space for your Monkey King. Like, Monkey King is the hero that you need to prioritize having a good acceleration for at this point.
I think Jug can farm and push top and mid if he wants, but you still would want the rest of you to be all bot. Like,
right.
The thing is, I think Donnie's right, and you probably want your Monkey King to take some space right now and have your Jug be the one that's creating the space. But even if you have the incorrect hero taking space or creating space, it's still better to have some orientation on the map that's getting you objectives than none at all. So, like, if you have the Monkey King farming top or the Jug farming top, it doesn't matter because 4 people on this bot tower will have secured it 5 minutes ago, which means you will have secured the mid lane tower or be taking the mid lane tower, have the enemy jungle warded so you'll be able to fight them and then take the mid lane tower. Like, a lot of good stuff would happen if you were just articulated in a way where you're focused on objectives. But this kind of seems like you're just reacting to stuff that's happening. People are using like the Nyx ult to try to get kills, but it's like kills.
Yeah, you guys are just getting kills for the sake of getting kills for the most part right now, and you're running into a brick wall over and over. Like, okay, you got the invoker kill, but like, look how much you had to commit just for that, and you haven't even done any damage to this tower. Another thing that's really important to note here is that if you do make that rotation, you've already taken this, your tier 1 is up at full HP pretty much. This tower is alive. This tower is alive. So if you take this one, where does the Alchemist farm? If you take this tower and you ward their jungle, like, the Alchemist can basically farm this area, But that means that Void is not getting farm, and Invoker is not getting farm, because where are they going to go? Are they going to go up here and try and solo push your tier 1 tower when they're super far behind?
That's why, like, the end game is to choke the enemy team out.
Yeah.
And in a situation like this, where they have 3 extremely hard carries, this is when it becomes very obvious that you allowed them to farm when you shouldn't. But this is true in any game of Dota. Like,
yeah.
You can win any game of Dota by executing like this. If you win the lanes, you just take the safe lane tower, ward up the jungle with the smoke, take the mid tower, secure the area, choke them out, take fights when it's good, take fights when it's on your ward, take Roshan, and then push high ground when you have an Aegis. Like, you can do that against any team and you'll win, whether or not they can go late. And the reason that this is so obvious that you should have done that in this situation is because if you don't do that, you're going to be heavily punished because they have really good late game. But this will happen just a little bit more slowly against heroes that are a little bit worse in the late game. But you'll still lose if you're doing this and they're farming.
Yes.
It's just in this game, if you do this, you're guaranteed to lose. Because look at the damage you're doing to this tower. It's literally getting killed by a Treant Protector. They have an Alchemist. They have a Void. They have an Invoker. They're perfectly fine with you bashing your head into this tower over and over again. You wanna go at it from the bottom angle. And even at this point in the game, you should have done it earlier, but you can still do it. You can still secure their jungle, take fights when it's good, take the mid tower. It just kind of seems like you guys are playing very kill oriented and not objective oriented. It's like, oh, this guy showed up here, let's kill him. Oh, we have to be around an objective, let's push this. Oh, somebody's doing something, let's run over to this that's happening right now. Instead of like, okay, let's set up around this tower. We want to get this tower next.
Like this, like the Invoker shows up, just completely fucking ignore him. Go over here and push this wave in. It's like what I would say, to be honest. Like, do you have dust? No. Do you have dust? No. Okay, just Huckillionaire has dust. Like, this whole play of this chasing this Invoker just makes no sense.
It's actually fine if, like, you have somebody farming and there's a purpose for it. The problem is that it's just fighting to fight.
Yeah.
Like, there's nobody that's farming, there's nobody that's taking Roshan while this is happening. You're just fighting, and while you are out fighting them, because you guys are clearly just better at fighting than they are, they have an Alchemist who's farming right now. Look at the Alch. He's just chilling. He's farming.
Yeah.
Like, eventually you're going to lose to this guy.
This tower's not being pushed. This is not being pushed. This is not being pushed. Yeah.
So if you
what is this? What is this?
Invoker, it doesn't result in anything because the tower is not being pushed. Like, this kill should be for the purpose of taking the tower, but it's clearly not because the lane's not even pushed in.
Dude.
As soon as he goes on his high ground, he'd be like, guys, what are we doing? Somebody go push the lane. You could have been that person, by the way. If you don't kill this guy, or if you do kill him, it doesn't matter. Because if you were the person that ran over and pushed the wave, you'll still get the tower in either way. Like, that's the thing. That's the thing I had to learn about ganking, about kills in Dota. Smokes, ganks, none of these things are about killing people. It's about pushing the enemy team out of an area so that you can take an objective. And you did that here. You were successful. It's just that not a single one of you went and pushed the wave to make this successful.
Yes.
This could have been a successful play, even without killing him. It doesn't matter because it's the same thing. You push them out of this area. They couldn't defend this tower, but the tower's defending itself because it's immortal because there's a creep wave in front of it. So
yeah,
like, this actually could have been okay.
How to get immortal? Don't have creeps near you. All right, that's the secret to being an immortal Dota player. You know, and I wanted to point out this particular moment because, okay, you got 5 heroes in between their tier 2 and tier 3. And this is something that you will see Secret, you will see VP do this. But this creep wave will be here so that once they have shoved all of the other players back into their fountain, they can immediately go back and take this tier 2 tower. VP will do this, but they will be able to actually take an objective afterwards. So, yeah. Yep, I would just... I agree. I think it's just way too much focus on fighting for the sake of fighting without even any real thought as to why or where there should be.
I think so too. I think you guys fight really well. You press your spells well. Like, you take fights that look awful and you win them, but it doesn't matter if it's amounting in nothing. It's like, I can read books, 2 books a day, but I'm never going to the library sort of thing.
Right.
Eventually, it's just amounts to nothing. Me and my sick analogies, dude. All right. We got Fox Runner 8 here. So let's see. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 left. If we go through all of them, we could do a speed round if you wanted to. Do a speed round. So we got Fox Runner 8. He says, I'm kind of new to mid since I've been mostly a position 1 carry player for a long time now, but I'm curious as to how I can improve my laning and get the most of the mid lane leading into the mid game and really take advantage for my team. Also, any Invoker tips? My God, we got so many Invokers today.
Dude, everybody plays Invoker. Like, it's just everybody plays Invoker. Everybody who plays mid plays Invoker, and they just spam Invoker all the time. Cause
Yeah, that's why that guy that stole our video formats and then we got in shit for it puts Invoker and Shadow Fiend videos because everybody plays those heroes.
Yep.
The only reason people thought that we stole his videos is because I fucking did it with like Slark or something, and nobody plays those. I did it with like some random heroes like Tinker.
Yeah.
I don't remember what it was.
Yep.
But you gotta capitalize on like the most played heroes. I'm talking Pudge videos, Shadow Fiend videos, Invoker videos,
Juggernaut, PA.
Yeah, exactly. I'm throwing so much shade at that guy because I'm mad that people. I don't even know if he took our. I remember seeing his video, like one of his videos, and I was just like, that's just another guy that's like taking our thumbnail or our title or our video, because you see that so often on
YouTube.
On YouTube, it's like, not gonna name any other names, but you go to somebody's channel and it's like the thumbnails are fucking almost identical to ours. And it's like, all right, that's YouTube. But the moment I do a format that I originally made, I'm stealing it from that guy because he got more views. That is such bullshit. It's such bullshit.
Yeah. That was the most annoying part, is that people were literally flaming us, being like, how dare you steal this idea from yourselves?
I didn't want to make I'll say it here because it's on the stream, but I didn't want to officially comment and be like, he stole our. Then I noticed that you did. You said like he borrowed it from us. And it's like, well, that's basically what I was trying to say. This fucking guy took it from us originally. So it's like, all I'm doing is doing a format that I did already.
Yeah.
It's just like somebody does it more successfully and it's theirs. That's such bullshit, man. We've done so many formats, and I'm going to go back to quite a few of them.
Yep.
God damn.
All right. 0 last hits in the first wave. That's not good.
Oh, I'm looking at the shit. I was looking at the stream. I was wondering why it's so fucking delayed. PL counter to Invoker.
Yep.
That's always an issue. Always going to be an issue.
I do like that you're hitting him at pretty much every possible chance. That's definitely good. I mean, this is actually great. Here, we can just take this Invoker. We can make our own Invoker at different levels, okay? Because this guy is now hitting this PL at many opportunities. So we've got our Herald level, who is not hitting the Ember whatsoever.
That wasn't Herald.
It was Guardian. It was Guardian or Herald, something like that. Anyway, this is the difference. He's actually being aggressive on the PL, punishing him for being a melee hero in this lane, even though it is a counter to Invoker. And you can see it's going much better. Despite him winning in CS, this guy's at, 40% HP, so he has to play more scared than he would otherwise, which is what you want to, be forcing.
Yeah, this is good stuff. Although he does have denies. The thing with PL in this matchup is he just trades salves for last hits.
Yeah.
That's the problem, and then you can never kill him. So a lot of the time what I'll see people do is just Meteor the Wave and jungle, Meteor the Wave and jungle. Like,
yeah.
If you do that, you outfarm the PL. You won't pressure. You can pressure a PL like right now a little bit, but see, he just does that.
Every time you try to kill him, you have no kill potential. So I agree, and I think at this point, when he's a level higher than you, and you're like relatively low mana, I totally agree. At this point, you just you kill the range creeps as quickly as possible, you kill the wave as quickly as possible, and then you just kill this medium camp over and over.
It's hard to do it in like the early levels on Invoker, but there hits a point where you can like relatively easily do it. You just want to aim to get to that point.
Yeah.
And yeah, like Donnie said, like in the early game, you can't afford to Meteor, you can't afford clarities and stuff like that. Yeah, that's when you like hit the range creeps and stuff like that. That's definitely the play. It's just a counter matchup. That's the problem.
Yep. Okay, so let's see. Improve laning, get the most out of the mid lane. Leading
okay, I definitely got to say, one thing I've noticed in these Invoker replays is you guys are standing out of experience range when you're sunstriking. Don't do that. Like, you're focused on sunstriking, but make sure that you're not losing your lane by trying to win somebody else's lane. Like,
I guess we should go to player perspective, to be honest.
Like,
Yeah.
look where you were. It's like there's just experience that you're missing for. I mean, it's not a big deal, but it's like a totally unnecessary experience that you're missing. You get a kill, but he like denied you there, and there's 30% XP from a creep. Another creep died, so you got a kill, which is great. But
Right.
Missed two creeps worth of CS for it. It's also a nice thing about jungling on pushing the wave and jungling on Evoker is that you can just sunstrike. You can just sunstrike the lanes. It's great.
Yeah, definitely, because there is no pressure from somebody in the lane. you can just be completely AFK with your hero just auto attacking creeps, and then you're just looking around the map for sunstrikes the whole time.
Oh, I would beat this guy's ass with this.
Yeah, with the double damage.
Yeah, and I would push the wave with this too.
Yep.
Hit those range creeps. Hit those range creeps.
Be more proactive with setting up the lane.
I would honestly just be a lot greedier on like if it's a way more one-sided matchup and you know you can pressure, then I think you should apply pressure. Like we were saying in the Broodmother matchup, I thought you should apply pressure, but this is one where you can't really. So that's when you should just be as greedy as possible. And Dota like that, it's so easy to play, and it's so much more fun because you just focus on getting your own farm. This is one of those games, like you can just right-click the wave with double damage, go jungle, right-click the wave, jungle. Now it gets to a point where he's like much stronger than you.
Yep.
This is when you just definitely meteor the wave and then jungle. And like I said, I do this all the time when I don't know how to play a matchup. I will just push the wave in jungle because the bottom line is, even as like a worst case scenario, that is still amazing in terms of getting a lot of farm for yourself. And yeah, you're always going to be huge. It's so easy to play mid right now. You're guaranteed essentially to be huge because you can just push the wave and jungle without going far away from the tower at all. It's broken. It's really easy to play mid right now because of this. You want to abuse it.
Okay, so you rotate it out of the lane, and you have a core farming each other lane, which is good. I mean, you're out of the lane with the Pugna. I don't know. I guess there's fairly low kill potential for you here, so it's probably fine to just farm here.
I don't know, dude. I think it's pretty unsafe. I think once again, like, there's a reason side lane Invoker, like, you don't die, but that's not good. What happened?
Right.
You're basically an offlaner now.
Yeah.
Like the reason this is the reason side lane Invoker is not a thing, is because it's just unsafe. It's just unsafe to be that far up, and you kind of want to just free farm. So this is what, like, if you're giving somebody mid, that's fine. That's actually a really good play, especially against a counter. You just give somebody mid. Hopefully they can defend the tower, which this guy can't. Maybe even give two people mid. But if you go to a side lane, push the wave and then jungle, like, you get the same amount of farm from jungling, if not more, with the change to the creep bounties. So you can get double the amount of farm, and then also, really the whole purpose is that, like, all right, guys, I'll deal with this tower if it gets pushed. That's most important, because otherwise you should just be jungling, because in that top lane, like, you couldn't get anything. They were pressuring you. Yep. You couldn't get anything until it was right in front of your tower, but you're half HP, and then you come mid, and you can't do anything here because you're half HP. So it's like it's this really awkward situation because you were trying to get, you feel like because it's the laning stage, you need to get CS in the lane, but it's more like you just need to make sure that tower doesn't die. You're not going to lane against two people as Invoker. It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Push the lane. Go jungle.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of goes back to one of those points that we've talked about many times, which is that sometimes you have to be okay with not being able to just body somebody in lane. Like, there's a lot of laning matchups where just getting farm is acceptable. And I think that there's so much emphasis, maybe because Sumail is so popular and his ability to just, like, win mid, no one, that kind of stuff. Maybe it's just because people expect themselves to be able to outplay every other person that they play against, which is just not possible either, because sometimes you have a bad hero matchup like this one. But no matter how much faith you have in your mechanics, like, just take a step back and actually evaluate the matchup and evaluate what you really need to be doing in the game, and think about, like, what if you were to just be able to farm for 20 minutes? Well, is that technically winning the game? It probably is, right?
Yes. The way that Sumail will outplay somebody in this Invoker PL matchup is that he will know the matchup and get farm. Exactly. And then when PL screws up, then he'll capitalize on it because he's a good player. But if you're not given that opportunity because they counter you, then there's no way that you can force that.
Exactly.
If PL played perfectly and Sumail is this Invoker and Invoker plays perfectly, then Invoker will just farm and PL will just farm. He will not kill the PL. He will not pressure the PL because this is a counter matchup. The reason you see Miracle and Sumail killing people is because they play it as good as they can until the enemy screws up because the enemy is a worse player than them, and then they're good at capitalizing on screw-ups. But he'll do exactly what I said until it hits a point where PL screws up, then Invoker gets an advantage, then it's not a normal matchup because you now have an advantage on this hero that you shouldn't have an advantage on that hero. And that's when you'll see the Sumail and Miracle doing this sick shit where they're owning them, and it's like, oh, this PL should get owned by Invoker. No, that's not the case. He screwed up once. Sumail's an amazing player. He capitalized on it, and that's what makes it look good. But if they're both perfect, you'll just both farm. Probably even lose the tower.
Yes, I was not saying that no one or Sumail would win this matchup. I'm saying that because there has been such a focus on like owning people in lanes and solo individual play and outskilling people in Dota as a like phenomenon recently, a lot of people just feel like they should be able to win any matchup if they're a better player.
I was just kind of clarifying that like the conception on owning, as you're saying, is that there's some sort of sick outplay that happens.
Yes.
But that's only if it's possible. If they're given the opportunity to make that outplay, then they will. There's no way that you can out-mechanic somebody and make that opportunity happen. Somebody has to give it to you. That's one thing that recently, like I think we watched somebody play against Gorg C. They were Phoenix against Lifestealer. They're like, how do I win this lane? And it's like, you don't. You don't win this lane unless he tremendously messes up because he's much stronger than you in this lane.
Yes.
And that's the thing. And you could win that lane, but it wouldn't actually be you winning the lane. It'd be him losing the lane.
Yes.
Same thing with this. Same thing with this.
Yes.
That's exactly why Miracle and Sumail do it, because give them an inch, they'll take a mile because they're that good. But they have to be given an inch first. They have to be given an inch.
Right. And they won't be aggressive or try to make that outplay unless there is actually an opportunity presented to them.
Right. Exactly.
And so a lot of that is like biding their time and setting up the kill eventually through like, you know, focusing on harass or like paying attention to mana. Or out farming. Yes. Yeah.
Like if the PL is running around trying to deal with you or he's not jungling as well, you can out farm him, and then when you have levels on him, then maybe you can kill him if he screws up. It's like, oh, this idiot uses Doppelganger, now I'm going to kill him. Oh, look how good Sumail is. But it's like, no, the only reason he can make that play is because he out farmed him in the first place by being a little bitch in the lane and understanding that he loses the lane.
Right.
So I would say that at this point, you are spending a lot of time on your side of the map. It looks like you're losing a lot of towers. I would say your ideal play is to just be as far away from what's happening as possible. I get you have a Naga that's doing that, but like you could be pushing bot, force them down there, and then you guys head to like the mid lane and fight. You're not getting any towers, and I don't think you can just like. You're kind of fighting them, but I don't know. PL's kind of huge. They've gotten a lot of towers. It's clear that you guys aren't able to fight them. This is like 1 out of a million team fights where you actually won the fight. Every other fight has been pretty bad for you guys so far.
Yeah, and
this is good. Where you're farming right now is good. This is great because you want to be on the aggressive side of the map.
Yep. I will say it's a little hard to play in that way just because they have like a Lion and actually never mind. I was thinking that they had a Clinks who could stalk you. They actually don't have anybody to stalk you really.
Who cares if you die? Who cares if you die? If your team is farming and they're committing a lot to you, that's the thing with Invoker is that like that's why he's always like a strong hero is because you can just push a wave with creeps or push a wave with a meteor and then go jungle and then they have to commit a lot to killing you. You'll still be getting farm, and if they do kill you, who cares? Because they're not killing you on your side of the map. So they're not going to get objectives. Like, you guys have no towers, and they have 5. That's problematic, and that's because look where you are. Look where you're fighting. You're on your side. Yep. So if they kill you, they get a tower. If you kill them, you get nothing.
Yep.
If you're on their side of the map, you kill them, you get a tower. They kill you, they get nothing. So fight on their side. Almost always, it's better to fight on their side unless you're very sure that you want to hold the game out to late. You can hold a tower or something like that. Like, if you have a purpose for fighting on your side, go for it. That happens. Whatever. I don't even want to focus on that because that shit happens. You guys are fighting on your side. That's just not good.
Yep. And the last thing I would say is if you want to fight, because it seems like you want to be fighting them, that's how you're playing, you should probably go for Quaswex. That's the last thing that I want to say. Like, you can adapt how you're playing and your build accordingly. You should not be going Midas Ags and playing Exort Invoker if you want to fight them. If you want to fight them, go Quas Wax, go for Spirit Vessel, go for like fighting items.
And are they gonna rax you guys because you're fighting on your side? You actually have a gold lead and they're doing damage to your tower. If you died on their side, nothing happens here.
Yep.
They're applying so much pressure to you just because of where you're fighting. All right, I'll get another.
Cool.
Let's see. We got our effects. He says, pause 5 ogre. If you want to do non-support replays first, do not hesitate to skip mine for now. RFX is such a great guy. Holy shit. What a fucking G, man. Let me tell you. Talking to this guy, he's really smart too. He's a smart guy.
Has he been going up? Oh, he gained some rank recently. That's right. Good. Dota Alchemy gains your rank. Heard it here first.
Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah. Not that game lead bullshit or poker or whatever that guy's channel is.
Dude, you're going so ham. Going so ham against.
I'm just joking. I'm not being serious. I'm being ironic. I'm being extreme. I'm a Anyway, Void was in an ancient metal. Could be party. We ended up in a tri-lane against him. We did it poorly. I'd like information on how to tri-lane better. Probably didn't have a good setup in a tri-lane anyway. I think Ogre is great at tri-laning because you're a beefcake. Tank a lot of damage. Looks like you have Dazzle as well. Oh, is that Dazzle mid? Where's Chen at? Oh, wow. Those heroes look huge.
It was zoomed in for some reason. Nice Ogre set, by the way. This is a very solid Ogre set.
Yeah, this is for sure. Looks great. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
There he is.
Oh.
Look at that fat bastard. That stupid Ogre.
Look at that steamy meat right there.
I love Ogre, dude. This is one of my favorite heroes.
Yeah, he's fun. He's a fun lad. A couple of lads.
He's a funny hero to play. That's why I like him. He's super funny.
Yeah.
You just run in like a moron. Okay, so build-wise, it's not that bad. I guess my concern is my question is, did you know you were going to be against a tri-lane? It doesn't look like it because you got a little bit of a dual lane setup. So I would say that Stout Shield, if you know you're in a tri-lane, would be good, but it looks like you didn't know that, so this is okay. I think this is a perfectly acceptable build if you aren't sure if there's a tri-lane or not. You just want to tank and be a big meaty boy and bully the offlaner.
I do think that Stout's probably better just knowing that they have Pudge, Void, Legion, and Shaman, who's basically a melee hero in terms of range, so you can kind of just be up in their face. Maybe tanking creeps at some point. But I agree, it's not the end of the world that you don't have that because you have 8 armor and you're an Ogre.
I would also say I would hold the points in this game because Legion Commander is a hero that can just remove your whatever the hell it's called, Ignite.
Yeah.
So if you see that there's a Legion in this lane, you can just hold and get stun and use that because it's very especially at level 2 with the stun.
Also, why are you blocking?
Yeah, that's
the lane's lost.
That's actually something you should not do as a safe lane. You shouldn't block because if they don't block, Sunken. Wait a minute. Go to this guy's profile.
Who?
Sunken.
Why?
Let me look.
Oh, Smurf. Maybe.
I played on a Dota team with a guy named Sunken. He's immortal. Maybe that's him. I don't know. He's an anime guy too. He really likes anime.
Definitely a Smurf account.
Yeah. Anyway, back to it. Yeah, the stun is quite effective in the first couple of levels. If you want to look at it, the mana for damage is good.
Yeah, I actually think that you should not level Ignite in this lane ever. I think you should max You should max Bloodlust and Fire Blast because Bloodlusting in Ursa is actually really, really nice because of the movement speed and attack speed. It's going to allow him to pretty much solo zone the Legion Commander, which is something that almost
movement speed too.
Yeah, it's something that basically no heroes can do other than a Bloodlusted or Ursa.
Well, yeah, Ursa's like the hard counter to Legion, so
yeah.
Okay, so you realize that he's alone, or that it's a Legion alone, and there's an Ursa, and you leave. This is definitely a good play.
It's
I think
good.
you made the right choice.
Unfortunately, you did it after pushing the wave, which I really don't like. I think
Yeah,
I'd rather pull the wave back and then make the rotation.
The really unfortunate thing is, like, yeah, you blocked, so you gave the Legion, like, a free wave of experience when Ursa could be completely decimating him. Like, you're right in the fact that Legion should be decimated by an Ursa, but that's only if the creep wave isn't right in front of the Legion's tower, where Ursa can't run him down, but coming to the tri-lane is good.
Yeah.
Throw some harass. Couple wand. I don't know what was going on with Mirana. Oh, she got hooked, okay.
Yeah. And
you have a Chen tri-lane.
I'd definitely be looking to pull this wave.
Yeah.
This is how you win tri-lanes, is you pressure them and then you just pull the wave. Because otherwise you're gonna not get enough experience. You can basically win a tri-lane just by having more experience than them, which is accomplished by side pulling and getting extra farm here and only splitting.
Well, also, you can't do anything to them when it's under their tower. You just do nothing to them. You need to pull the wave back so you can
actually pressure them.
Kill potential, and if you pull the wave, they have to sit there dealing with the wave. But do they deal with you or do they deal with the wave? Either they lose experience on the wave and they fight you, or they only fight you with 2 heroes. And in any case, like, you're gonna kill them or get more experience in them. So you want to force that by pulling. And basically, if the creep wave is right by the tower, and like anywhere around the tower, you can just pull it and you'll hit the timing. It's very easy. It's a pretty wide timing. Camera movement wise, I would say that your camera movement is not focused enough to the side. Like, you didn't see the Mirana die, you didn't see the Chen die right now.
Yeah.
So like two deaths, you didn't know the status of your team. Yeah. So I don't blame you for like not running over and helping, but you just, because of the camera movement, you would have no idea whether or not you should help in this scenario because you didn't have the information.
Yep.
Of what was happening over there.
Yeah, you're very, very focused on your hero. You can be taking your camera and just moving it up and then double tapping your hero select key and then moving it up and double tap your hero select key, checking their mana, checking that kind of stuff. I also don't think that you should focus any harass on the Void at the moment. I think you should focus on killing the Pudge and the Shaman over and over. Just because, like, stunning the Void is just going to get time walked every time. So it's basically just like trading 75 mana for nothing, or trading 75 mana for like...
You can punch them though if the supports aren't there, but that's only like... When you're in a solo offlaner against a dual lane, or a tri-lane versus tri-lane, dual lane versus tri-lane, like, you have to deal with the supports first, basically, because otherwise, like, you're going to be committing too much to the carry. They're going to be on the wave, and the supports are just going to be full HP and full mana, and they're going to kill you. Like, you have to abuse the fact that the carry is going to be on the wave, CSing, and if that's the case, and you're 3 hitting the supports, then it's a 2v3, because the Void is going to want to hit the creeps. Once you kill the supports, or zone the supports, then you can zone the Void. It's kind of like a flowchart sort of thing.
Yep. So we're going to see you get hooked here, and again, it's going to be a camera positioning thing. We saw Pudge. I want to highlight this because this is why it's always, you need to have this rotation of your eyes on the minimap. Right now, okay, Pudge is on the minimap right there, so you know he's coming towards you, potentially to do something like this. You don't react to it. I assume you probably didn't see him. He wasn't showing for that long, but he was showing for 2 or 3 seconds.
Well, if you have the camera up to, you'd literally see him on the camera too.
Yeah. So, I mean, while you don't die there, you do take a decent amount of damage, which is not good, because in tri-lanes, it is kind of just a war of attrition. Whoever runs out of regen first is probably just going to get completely bullied off the wave.
Well, also, you guys weren't CSing the wave either, because you were busy, like, saving the ogre.
Yeah.
So nobody was CSing on the wave, which is a free wave under the tower.
Yeah.
That doesn't...
And you can see that using your stun on Void doesn't do anything at all.
You can punch him. Punching Void works. It's like damage over time.
Yeah, specifically the stun. Don't use the stun on the Void.
Right.
I would also really prioritize getting a Basilius in this lane, whether it's you or the Chen that gets it. I think you need a Basilius in this lane extremely badly.
Yep. Basilius, headdress, sticks. These are like super effective items.
Incredibly good in tri-lanes.
For tri-laning, yeah. Lots of standing around going on. 1K, he says, because he's mad that he's getting outlaned by an Ursa. He goes to show that it was a correct decision to leave bot.
Yeah.
So, unfortunately, because the lane is in this position, you guys cannot contest their rune. Although they didn't even run to it early, so they're just, all right. Well,
you guys should be able to just kill this Pudge if he continues to chase.
Yeah, he's got 0 armor.
Yeah.
Does have boots and a woodlace though.
Yep.
Dude, this Pudge might have watched my Pudge video where Cupid tri-laned. I've been tri-laning on Pudge all the time, man. This hero's awful if you don't tri-lane it. It's so good now, though.
Okay, I would also... Okay, let's see what you're bringing yourself in the courier. Hopefully it's a bunch of clarities and stuff like that.
And everybody's items.
A couple mangoes and a sentry ward. So.
Go to Marana. Let's see Marana. Okay, 159 gold. That's no big deal. Go to Chen. Aha! He could send out a Bassi.
Yeah.
He could send out the
Sage's Mask,
Sage's Mask and then get the Ring of Protection from the side shop. And you're using the courier.
You should say...
He sends it back. You send it back for the ward.
But you should say, "Hey, I'm bringing the courier out," or "Hey, can I use the courier?" And then people will know that they should do stuff.
I just watched the Marana hit the tomato or potato
instead of.
I'm pretty sure he hit the potato. I want to see this.
No, this is a Chen creep.
Oh no, he didn't. He didn't. Okay, yeah, I thought he hit the potato instead of the shadow shot. That would be so funny. It's like, start to right click. I always do that. That would piss Nusham off all the time. Is I would deny his Chen creeps when we were playing party queue. I'd literally just run after him and deny his Chen creeps. Be like, dude, you think this is funny, but it just makes it not fun for me to play.
At this point, you should just go back to the lane. Like, there's no reason to chase them into their shrine.
Oh yeah.
This is not even really. I mean, okay, you get the kill, but I mean, yeah, this void's actually even gonna get some free experience because you guys aren't here to bully him. But now you guys should play extra aggressive on the void because he's used the shrine. He has no regen. He has no TP. So if you were able to kill him, you could completely ruin his lane.
Goodness.
I mean, he's a sponsored player, sponsored by G2A.
Well, our effect is sponsored by Dota Alchemy, so
yeah, we pay him a lot of money to put that tag in his name.
We do. We pay him in doll hairs.
Again, expensive. Another pull that should be done. And another thing that pulling here would do is it's going to force the void to either go somewhere else because there's no creeps, or he's going to have to come up too far, and then you can actually pressure him. It's kind of going back to like the Doom replay of setting things up. You want to set the void up to be killable by pulling the wave so that he has to be far away from his tower.
This is something that I see in a lot of Tri-v-Tries in like the lore brackets is when the creep wave is pushed under the enemy tower, it's like, what do I do? It's like, you can't, unless you have like a Bat Rider on your team or some hero that's like excessively good at diving.
Yeah.
Then you can't do anything, which is why you have to pull. Even though it doesn't feel good it's like, oh, we have 3 people up here, we want to be killing them. You have to pull because that sets you up into a position where you can actually kill them.
Right.
Like where the wave is right here isn't great either.
Yeah.
You want to pull the wave when they
can
contest kill them, pull the wave when they contest kill them, pull the wave when they contest kill them.
Yep.
And then once you have enough experience and you have a lead,
then you can
dive them.
Yep.
Yeah, but it's just an even lane. So like in an even lane, yeah, you can't dive them. They shouldn't be farming freely here, but they kind of, like Void is 30 and 10.
Yeah, that's crazy.
He's got almost as much CS as your free farming owning mid dazzle in a tri lane against a tri lane.
Yep.
Should have nothing.
Yep.
I think we've covered enough like tri laning stuff. I think the big thing is like this situation that we're seeing right here has happened dozens of times so far.
Yeah, just
like 3 people standing around wishing the wave was closer to your tower.
Yeah, literally just wishing, like, why won't the creep wave get farther out? Why are they just always under their tower? Well, you have the ability to make that happen. So, you know, again, it's just being proactive, figuring out the solution to the problem, figuring out the logical progression of how the lane should progress, making that happen. Do we have any more replays?
Oh, yeah. Let me see. Oh my god. We got Arfax, Pause 5 Ogre, we got Turtle. Soul Dirge.
Oh shit, we have a lot of replays.
Yeah, they keep coming. Well actually we have 1, 2, 3. We have 3 more.
Okay. We'll cut it off at that.
Yeah, we're done. I'm done. Get me out. No, I'm just kidding. Fucking PPD, man. I wish he never said that shit, because so many times in pubs, people are just like, get me out of this game. It's like, dude, you're the one that queued for Dota, and you're not PPD. Like, please stop pretending that. Oh my god.
Yeah,
so many players
that you're a
just, "Get me
victim of
out."
circumstance and stuck
Yeah,
there.
exactly. I hate pubs so much. It's like, you're not PPD. You don't play competitive. Pubs are all you play, and you queued for them. Like, you queued for it. Stop saying "get me out."
You did this
Oh
to
my God.
yourself, you motherfucker.
Ellie was playing the other day and at my brother-in-law's, and she had the no headset, so the speakers were on. I could hear this like 13-year-old in her game saying like, "Oh, we lost. Get me out." It's like, oh god, the kids are doing it now. Oh my god. PPD doesn't realize the influence he has over the children.
Yeah, most pro players don't. Okay, so Turtle says, I was Invoker in this game. I did really well in the early game, but I ended up just taking bad fights and getting tilted at my team. We lost the game in literally 10 minutes. So I don't...
Turtle and tilting. Name a more iconic duo.
I know, literally. I was going to say, like, what do we even have to talk about in this one? Like, most of the games that you lose are because you get tilted from what I've seen.
Yeah. Dude, I know Turtle, man. I know. Wait, Juggas.
What's
What are
up?
you gonna say? What are you gonna say, Joe?
I've said I've literally played with him, and in one of the games that we played together, it was like things were going fine, something bad happened. He was like, "Oh, this game sucks," and I was like, "Shut the fuck up and focus."
My God, toxic. You two are toxic. You can't swear, okay? Swearing is toxic, dude. There's some snowflakes in Dota games lately. Let me tell you, where it's like. You'll say one thing that's like a tad abrasive, not even toxic, just like, all right, I'm coming bot. Go on this guy, fucking kill this guy. And then people are like, oh, that was toxic. Don't swear at me. It's like, dude, I'm trying to be intense. Like, I'm trying to get you fucking hyped up. I'm trying to be like Dota's not this slow-paced strategy game. It's fast. Like, you have to be fast. You have to be hard.
Yeah, people.
You know?
That is one thing. Is there's no sense of urgency in most Dota players. Like
urgency.
Like,
oh my god, dude, that word. I've been thinking of that word for fucking 2 weeks. You have no idea what you saying that has done for me. I literally have been talking to Newsham for 2 weeks trying to figure out what the word is that we were saying. I've said this word to my girlfriend's stepdad, to my girlfriend's mom, saying like, oh, what is that word? It's fucking urgency. The like knowing that something is going to happen and feeling the intensity before it does. Like dealing with the anti-mage before he's huge. Like, that's urgency. Oh my god, I'm so glad you fucking said that. I gotta go tell Ellie.
It's just Dota in general. Like, if you see an opportunity to kill somebody, it's not going to be there forever. So you have to urgently do the action that's going to capitalize on it. That's why Miracle is such a good player, is because he makes plays with urgency. He decides, oh, there's a weak spot on the other side of the map. There's a weak spot on this enemy hero. I'm going to capitalize on it right now before the opportunity goes away. And that's what makes a good team, is good teams play with urgency. They play with a actual like need to get stuff done.
I feel like I just blew a load or something. Oh my god, I feel like I just blew a huge load. Oh my god.
Demonetized.
Jesus Christ. I gotta message Newsham, dude. That fucking word. Urgency is so important in Dota, because I play these divine games and people will win a lane and then the enemy gets huge, and it's like, oh, who could have thought that they would get huge if I farmed the jungle? And it's
Yeah.
like, dog, you don't feel the sense of fucking urgency before it's too late. Like,
Yes.
it is urgent that we need to kill this anti-mage before anti-mage is unkillable. Like, it's so obvious. Oh my god.
Dude, that's one of the reasons why I get muted by my teammates a lot, is because I'm like, we need to do this now. Like, we don't have time to wait for this to happen. We see somebody out of position, we kill them now. We see a tower that is available to be killed after winning a team fight, we do that now. We need to do that now. We don't have time for you to go farm another jungle camp. We don't have time for you. And one of the biggest things is people are like, the biggest thing that I've seen happen a lot is somebody's like, oh, well, let me wait for my assault cuirass. It's like, dude, everybody's dead. Go kill the tower. You don't need your AC to push a tower that's not being defended. And then somebody else is like, wait, I need to get my Scotty. It's like, no, you can get your Scotty on the courier. Walk down this lane. Don't just stand there waiting for the courier to come to you. Like,
Dude,
do things.
You made my fucking night, actually. Like, I've been trying to think of this word for so long because on Leviathan, it was always just like, we would say it. We'd have this big team huddle and just be like, guys, we're not feeling the sense of urgency. We have to feel the urgency. We have to be intense. Repeat stuff. Like, that's how important of a concept this is. We'd have a team meeting. And it's like, if you say something once and not twice, you are not trying hard enough. And you will not win Dota because you don't have the sense of urgency that is needed. I don't remember at all how this is related to this replay. I'm pretty fucking stoked about this word. I thought it was a word that started with A. I literally have gone through the dictionary in the past couple of weeks looking at the A words and looking for synonyms to it, intensity. And everybody's like, Jenkins, do you mean intensity? And I'm like, no, it's not intensity because I know that fucking word and I don't know this one.
Yeah,
it wasn't in the A's, it was in the U's.
No, it's actually one of the most important concepts that people just don't understand, and I don't know why exactly it is. I feel like to some extent people just, they don't feel like it's like necessary to take a video game seriously maybe, but then everybody does because they flame their team and they get upset when they lose. But like, if you're ever like, guys, we need to go do
too cool. It's like a too cool mentality in terms of the negative emotions, because we're all human and we can't control them. We'll be serious about it. But in terms of the positive ones, no, I don't feel emotion. No, I don't love my dad. That's gay. I'm not gay. I don't love my dad. I don't love my friends. But then when your friends do something that upsets you, you get really fucking upset because you do love them and you don't want them. So I don't know. It's like, I feel like that's a bit of a toxic masculinity thing, a little bit of a human thing where it's just kind of like, it's not cool to cry. It's not cool to experience these emotions, which are generally
positive,
looked upon as
right?
Positive.
Yeah.
But with the negative emotions like anger and hatred and shit,
it's cool. It's cool and tough to do that, right?
Right. It's tough. Like you have all these people that are just like, oh man.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I don't fucking care about Dota. IDC MMR. And then you get really fucking mad when you lose.
Right.
Like, that's not IDCing MMR. That's MMR. Like, that's the polar opposite. So I know what you're feeling. You're just not expressing it because you don't want to look like gay or something like that. It's like, dog, it's fucking 2019. None of these things should be associated with anything other than just being human.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that TP.
Okay. There was something I wanted to say, and now I completely lost my train of thought.
I'm so sorry.
That's
I'm
okay.
so sorry.
I was gonna say, look at Eternal Envy. Like, how many of Eternal Envy's clips are, do this right now, do this right now, go here right now, let's do this right now? Because he actually understands that is what Dota is about. It's about capitalizing on split-second mistakes by the other team and turning it into a win. And that's why he's so vocal with his pubs, is because he's actually looking for these mistakes and being like, okay, we have an opportunity to win the game now. We have an opportunity to win the game now. We have an opportunity to win the game now. This needs to be done now. If we don't do this right now, something bad is going to happen. And so he makes the calls, and people are like, look at Envy, he's so toxic in his pubs. It's like, no, he actually just wants to fucking win, and so he's communicating with his team.
There are plenty of toxic pros, but Envy is not one of them for the most part. Like, there are the occasional games he's actually toxic, feeding in mid and stuff, but like that is always what bothers me when I see that in pubs. Just this like, oh my god. I'm not going to name names, but I was casting a tournament, and somebody was watching me play in pubs, and I was like, fuck this guy up, put it in his fucking pussy, put it in this guy's pussy. Just being funny and trying to hype my team up and get them into, like, getting into the fight, you know? I was just being funny, I was just making jokes, and then this person who's from SEA Dota, they were like, wow, that NA pubs are really toxic. It's like, you think that's toxicity? that has nothing to do with toxicity. My team is getting stoked. That's the opposite of toxicity. That's an inherently positive thing. Yes, I'm saying vulgarities. Yes, I'm saying things that are inherently negative about the enemy team, but not to them, and my team is getting hyped. Toxicity is something that spreads negatively. There's no negative emotion spreading there, other than, like, hype, if you consider that negative. But it's just like, a total misconception on toxicity.
Look at Seb and TrueSight. They didn't translate all the stuff that he was saying in French, but Kat, my girlfriend, speaks French, and she was translating when I showed her it, because I was like, hey, look, this French player won TI. And he's just like, every time he'd kill somebody, he's like Like, fuck your whore mother. Like, all this, like, we're gonna fuck these guys in the ass. Like, that's all he was saying in French the whole time. And so he's not being toxic. He's literally just, like, hyping himself up.
He's hyping himself up. He's keeping things lighthearted. He's trying to be funny for his team. Like, it takes the pressure off to somebody who's just, like, making a big joke out of things. Like, that makes things so much less pressureful than they could otherwise be in a game that's inherently very pressured. And
TI finals.
TI finals is pressured, so it's like, that's the polar opposite of toxicity. If everybody was like that in the world, things would be great. Things would be fun. You know, but it's like, what's toxic is the whining, the anger, the resent, the hate. These emotions are the toxic ones. Anyway, we've been completely ignoring Turtles replay.
Yeah. Okay, but I mean, at the same time, like, if we've been paying attention, they've basically just been fighting around this bottom nothing for the last 15 minutes. It's been 15 minutes of just standing around this area, fighting around the enemy shrine, trying to control this jungle. I mean, Turtle's currently godlike.
I like his build. I like his build a lot. I think this is
dude. He's a master level Invoker player. Like, he plays a shitload of Invoker. He's good at Invoker. Like, on the grand scheme of Dota players, he's a good Invoker player compared to 99% of the other people that play this hero.
But not a good player is what Donnie's about to say.
But what is he doing? Like,
keeping top.
You know, like, has any of this complex spellcasting accomplished anything towards winning the game? No. They've done 0 tower damage in the last 15 minutes of him fighting in this bottom jungle.
Accurate. More fighting.
Oh, and they continued to take fights in this area over and over and over, and now he feeds his 9 kill streak to a Spectre lineup, and suddenly the game is over. It's like basically what happened in this one.
Seems about right.
Yep. He fed 900 gold to an Ember Spirit that desperately needed another item. And now...
Spectre wouldn't have any farm right now if you guys were doing these fights and pressuring around objectives. Like, if you're godlike, that means you have, like, what, 9-10 kills?
Yeah.
If each one of those kills happened around an objective, then I know that can't always happen, obviously, but if each one of those kills did hypothetically happen around an objective, you have racks right now.
Yep.
Because there's no way you can have somebody die right in front of your base and not get raxed. Like, especially with the lead that you have on your Juggernaut and your Invoker. But yeah, once again, this is an Ember Spirit and Spectre, and arguably even Abaddon's really good in the late game if you go the XP talent and pick up Radiance or any sort of, like, late game items. Basically, these heroes are going to obliterate you in the late game.
Yeah, you have no chance against this team in the late game.
That's just Spectre for it. Spectre Ember.
Yeah, I mean, you have no team fight, right? You've got Invoker and you've got Axe Call, and, like, hopefully Rubik steals something cool, but you have a Bounty Hunter, so you inherently have weaker team fight because you just have a hero that does nothing for team fights. And the last thing that I wanted to say about this is, like, I don't even remember. I don't even remember.
This has been a complete shit show. It seems like the longer and longer we go with these replay reviews, the more degenerate they become.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
I have no idea what I was going to say. But yeah, basically what you're saying is that, like, if you were fighting near their objectives, then this game should be over already. Like, a 9-0-2 Invoker should be able to solo carry a game.
Thanks for the insight. I learned almost nothing. Oh my god. That's so funny. Turtle's a sarcastic prick, you know that?
Yeah.
You know it.
Yeah,
I know it.
Fuck that guy. No, I'm kidding.
Turtle's funny, man. We keep wanting to set up coaching, but both of us are like depressed motherfuckers, so we're just like, we'll do it later. We haven't done it. I keep doing that with people. It's not good. Anyway, we'll move on to another replay.
Yeah.
We've done enough damage to this one. Okay. Turtle, Arc Warden, Soul Dirge. We got Arc Warden mid, and then we have Architect.
Arc Warden, Dan's game. Ugh. Gross hero.
Underrated hero.
The gross hero. If you play Arc Warden, you should jump off a bridge.
We're not even gonna fucking review your replay, you bastard.
Yeah, we don't want you to learn this hero.
I'm actually losing it. I literally just sent the.
Yeah, you definitely didn't send it to me.
I sent it to my brother-in-law, and I put it in Questions and Alchemists, and now I'm putting it to you. But I put it in 2 incorrect places. Dude, I gotta get these videos to Minoj. Actually, I need to.
Yeah, we have no content for today. I'm gonna have to go through this and clip something so we actually have content to publish.
God damn! I'm gonna head to my brother-in-law's after and upload these videos that I had to cancel the upload on because Microsoft decided, or Dota decided, or whatever decided to keep Dota stuck on my screen, so I had to restart, which doesn't restart halfway through uploads. God damn it. What a struggle it is.
Okay, I want to know what to do better. LC lost the role for mid and just went jungle. I feel like we should have won the game easily, but it came close to losing. I'm smurfing and play mostly carry, but was on my ult to practice this hero and role.
Alright, let's check it out.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about what to do if you have somebody who's jungling. Like, you just have to include that as part of your game plan. Like, sometimes you just have a hero who's feeding unintentionally, and you have to just treat it as if they're just, you know, not a hero for a while, or you can bait them. Or if you have somebody who's just completely playing on their own, you can bait them. Like, I'm sure this Legion eventually left the jungle. And so you can use him as bait, or you can just kind of like make space for him and it'll eventually come online. You know, it's not necessarily about you having the best game ever all the time.
God, dude. I feel so good right now because
urgency.
Oh, God. Yeah, it's like this weight has been lifted, you know.
I should probably clip that and turn that into a video, huh?
I don't know. It's kind of embarrassing for me to freak out like that, but you know, it was. I couldn't control myself. I've been thinking of a word for 2 weeks straight, and finally somebody says it. It's like, oh, that's it. Oh my God, I'm coming my pants. You know how that feels. You do that a lot. That's what I've heard. Anyway.
Okay, replay.
This is going okay so far. I think Lina does relatively decent against an Arc Warden.
Yeah, it's hard to pressure her.
It's
the way that you would against a lot of heroes with Arc. So you probably
you can definitely press your Q on her a little bit more because she's a ranged hero. So also, if you put your Spark Wraith right on the range creep, you force her to either take damage from it or you get the last hit on the range creep. Like what people will do is they hit the range creep once or twice, put the Spark Wraith on the range creep, and then it will die, and you'll get the last hit, or she'll soak the damage from it.
Yeah, and you should basically never miss last hits on range creeps with Arc Warden because you can just directly kill it.
Yeah, and then also if there's no range creep to stand on, and you put your Q on her, then she takes damage. Right. So like you want to kill the range creeps in this matchup, especially because like you're getting ganked, so pushing the lane is totally acceptable. In fact, you can max your Spark Wraith, push the lane, and go jungle. I know we've talked about this a lot. And I hope you've watched the other replays because I don't want to like hammer into it too much because I've talked about this so much already. I don't want to bore everybody who's watching, but against like a Tusk who's roaming on you, especially with like a Lina, pushing the lane and going to like what you did there, that's good. But I think you could have done that earlier, and I think you can max out your Spark Wraith. So you killed the Lina, which is good. But once again, I think that also could have happened earlier as well.
Yep.
If you do the range creep thing. Because you can see how she's standing right on the range creep, right?
Yeah.
But you need to max out. I think a lot of Arc Wardens are maxing the E, especially because it does so much damage now. And the point of this hero is like get Midas, go late game. So, and if you go late game in Arc Warden, no hero beats you. So,
yep,
it's perfectly fine to push the wave and to just get your own farm because the pressure's on them to deal with you. It's not on you. You don't need to pressure with your Q. You just farm. And if you're like level 13 when everybody's level 8 or 9 because you're farming really quickly and you're using your Spark Wraiths to farm and push out the wave and kill the range creeps, it's such a problem for them. That's such a bigger problem than you sitting in the wave and trying to pressure Alina, who cares if Alina's pressured? She's not late game carry like you. It doesn't matter.
Right. And I also just want to point out, it's like, okay, so you had a Legion who went jungle. But he also is like the highest farmed hero on your team. So that's not really that bad for you. I mean, sure, maybe you lost the other lanes a bit harder than you would have otherwise. But look at your other heroes, like Night Stalker, Ursa. These are not late game heroes. These are not game winning heroes. You're the game winning hero, and your Legion commander is going to help you win the game because it directly counters like Lina and potentially Monkey King as well. So I wouldn't be that worried about the fact that you have a jungle Legion who's free farming and has been free farming all game. And actually, a very farmed Legion is very good for you because you can just put your Spark Wraith or your clone in a lane, and then your Legion can just gank around your clone. Pretty much guaranteed dual wins for like the rest of the game.
I think a big thing here from what I've seen is just like realizing that your hero is the problem for the enemy team and playing in that way as opposed to trying to pressure. Like, I don't even think you should be in the lane right now.
Yeah, because if you're off the map, then the other team's going to feel pressure. They're going to feel a sense of urgency to shut you down because they're like, oh, the Arc Warden's just been free farming for the last 15 minutes.
God, you just get some... Jesus Christ, the Tusk.
And they're going to make a bunch of mistakes trying to kill you over and over. And that's going to set up for your Legion and your Ursa and your Pudge and your Night Stalker, all of which are heroes that want to just like brawl and get kills. And you can force them to take kills that are bad for them, or go for kills that are bad for them.
I would also send out some regen if I were you. You've been sitting at like low HP for a very long time. In fact, you can even send out like extra clarities, extra salves.
Because you're just going to use your spells a lot.
Because you're just going to use them anyway. So, yeah, like the reason that you have to play so far back and that the Tusk was going on you, and the reason that you can't walk up and push the wave and stuff, or try to kill the Lina, is because you're just at a threshold where it would be inherently dangerous to do that.
Yeah.
So
you sent out some tangos, which I think at 12 minutes is, it's kind of meh.
It's not enough. You can also send out a raindrop if you want to sit in the lane against Alina.
Yeah.
Like, you're just not going to get harassed at all by her, but this is another one of those situations where you could have, like, double the farm. Not exactly double, but a lot more farm if you were pushing the wave. And once again, this is another situation where, like, instead of, like, not being able to pressure the Lina, it's like, it just doesn't matter if you pressure her, because you're already pressuring her by existing.
Yep.
So you don't need to be that hero that's like bullying her and staying in the lane. You just need to make sure the creep wave doesn't kill your tower and jungle. That's all you need to do. Just get huge. That's the whole purpose of your hero. And if you want to play in a way where you're pressuring the mid lane, pressuring the Lina, then Arc Warden probably isn't your pick.
Yeah, let me put it this way. Would you rather play an Arc Warden with a Midas and a Maelstrom, or an Arc Warden with Boost of Travel, a Mjolnir, a Bloodthorn, a Nullifier, or a Hex, a Butterfly, etc.? Definitely the latter, right? And so if the other team is giving you the opportunity to become the latter without a whole lot of issue, then you should probably just accept that and go for that option.
Yeah, this kind of isn't ideal. You kill the Lina, right? But it's like, They're trading a hero who's not a late game hero. Well,
Yes.
who's not a late game hero like you for you. Like, the whole purpose of their draft, basically, when they see the Arc Warden, is to kill the Arc Warden. It's like, if there's a Tinker, if there's an Anti-Mage, if there's an Invoker's actually a good hero, and it's a good Invoker player. There's an Arc Warden. If there's any of these heroes, the whole game is just about killing them and about them. So you want to spend most of your time in the jungle, not dying, and you're winning the game. Alchemist, too, is another one of these heroes.
Yep.
If you're not dealt with, you just win the game.
Do people still go Necro level 1 to farm with Arc Warden? Is that still a thing or no?
I don't see why not. It's still really good.
Okay, cool. All right, let's go on to the next one.
Okay. What, we have one more?
Yep.
Let's see. Turtles still calls me Big J. That's funny. Oh shit. All right, let me go in here. Architect. We got the Architect 326. Are you actually an architect? If so, that's very cool. Guardian free player here. I want to know why my games are so inconsistent. Some games I crush the other team, and sometimes I go 2-10, and it seems completely random. That's probably because it is. It must be something that I'm doing. I played really well for my bracket here in the first game, and then I played bad and mediocre here. We'll look at the bad one. You guys are great. Keep up the videos. They help so much. Thank you. It's very nice to hear that.
I just want to look at the end screen and the one where he says he played very well. Architect 37, 1, and 8. Okay, well you got a PA, you snowballed, and then I mean you still only have 230 last hits in a 33-minute game, despite going 37-1-8. Probably because you were just fighting the whole time.
I assume there's just constant fighting. Yeah,
it's just constant fighting, constant feeding on their part. So you definitely you hit the snowball. And remember, we've talked about this like a number of times where if you just focus exclusively on fighting all the time and you don't really have like a plan for the game, then it really is just kind of random. Like the outcome of the game is simply who executes their buttons better more times, basically.
Who catches who out first.
Yeah. Okay, so let's look at the second one. 37-1-8.
That's a lot of kills.
Yeah.
That's a lot of kills.
Alright, lifesteal.
Alright, 36-1-2 on the enemy team. So it looks like you fought again, except there was a PA on the enemy team killing you.
And PA is a pretty hard counter to Lifestealer, so
I don't think so. Not new Lifestealer.
Yeah, it is. What are you talking about?
You get Radiance.
Okay, PA gets MKB. You just die.
Cool. You do Radiance damage, Radiance burn damage.
Or rather,
farm her.
PA
get
just
a Monkey King Roar.
PA just gets a BKB, and she just kills you. Anyway.
I mean, then it's just a regular carry versus another regular carry.
That's a really ugly hero. Look at his teeth.
You don't have any items for him. Come on, man.
Some dental work. All right. Oh, okay, Lifestealer. So we'll just kind of skip through. We have an axe support, looks like.
Pretty good.
Oh, actually, this isn't a support. This is just an unranked game. I think it's just an unranked game. So we just have a bunch of people picking random stuff. Are you guys in a party together? Okay, yes. You are. Cool. So yeah, axe support. But I assume it's just you guys are just kind of picking heroes that you like. Bounty Hunter axe support doesn't seem like that ideal from a draft perspective, but then again, the other team is like Terrorblade CK.
CK Terrorblade offlane.
Yeah. I definitely get a Quelling Blade. Okay, you do. You sold a branch to get your Quelling Blade, which is kind of weird.
Whatever. Use that backpack though. You know, if you potentially use that branch later.
Yeah.
Eat the branch. It's kind of awkward. I don't ever want to put it on like the carry because technically it's not the carry's job, but somebody should be doing it. The lane should be pulled back right now. Yeah. Like if you have to do it, then you have to do it. It's better somebody does it than nobody. But like just letting the creep wave be in front of their tower is basically means you can't pressure them at all and they get free CS. And there's no reason to allow that to occur when you have a pull available.
Yeah.
Because if you pull, they have to run by the creep wave to stop you from pulling. And that's not good. They're not going to do that. They're farming the creeps.
Yeah.
It's not good to do that either. So it's something you want to do.
Okay. Like, so you killed Terrorblade with meta. That means that the lane should be technically just one at that point. Right here, I would just immediately use your salve right now because that's going to allow you to continue to get these CS. But because you don't use your salve, now they're able to actually run you away from the creeps. So you're actually going to miss a huge amount of creeps because you're all the way back here salving up instead of up here contesting them. Like it's one of those kind of small moments where you had an opportunity to heal up and didn't take it, and now it loses you a decent amount of last hits because of it.
It looks like also, I assume this happens a lot in this bracket, and it looks like this is happening in this lane. This is a lane where you're fighting, so if you're ever in a lane where you're fighting, you want to get a wand as soon as humanly possible because it will give you so much regen that effectively you'll get so...
Yeah, got another like 5 minutes. I'll be out soon.
Yeah, this one won't take long. Don't worry, Kat. we got an easy one here. Yeah, you want that wand because there's so many spells being cast that you get like many salves and clarities worth of mana and health.
Yeah.
For the gold. So, and mangoes, of course. Like instead of having like 3 mangoes, you could just have 1 wand or 1 stick, I should say.
Yep.
Like you get a wand charge there. You get a wand charge every time TB casts his Q. Every time he casts his meta. Every time he casts it, like you get a wand charge there. Like you'd have mana to spam all your stuff. Also, I think people are maxing Feast first on Nakes because it just helps them. It helps them.
Does more damage, sustains in lane, like
farm faster,
all these things.
Bully people more. Yeah.
Yep. And
there's not really much of a point in leveling the Enrage past level 1. It's pretty effective at level 1 because it just gives you temporary magic immunity, so you can use it to disjoint shit, to get away, to TP, to whatever. Like it's a pretty value point at level 1.
Yep. So right now, as you're running over, you can cut this tree and then pull this wave again. I mean, you're still just fighting over and over and over, and you're winning the fights for now. But once the PA joins, you're probably not going to win the fights, which is probably how this game goes. But yeah, I mean, focus more on the laning stage and just like controlling the creep wave and thinking about how you want the lane to go. And like Jenkins said, if you're going to fight a lot, get a wand. Get
I mean,
early fighting items, which you are. Your itemization is fine, other than not having a stick. You're gonna say you don't like it because you don't like the double bracers. You think Midas should be first.
I don't think anybody's going for a double.
Yeah.
Like people aren't going for double stat items anymore. It's just not that effective.
Yep.
Just die anyway. Like
there was no reason to die there either.
You can get like Phase Boots stick and then Midas, and you'll be capable of fighting.
Yep.
Just as much. Like Phase Boots is just so damn effective for what it costs on melee heroes. It's stupid. They're broken. So you can get Phase Boots, build into the attack speed component of a Midas, and then get a stick. Nobody can fight you if you're Lifestealer and you're maxing Feast. Like nobody can fight you. That's why you can go for the Midas, because like with those items, doesn't matter. No matter what items they have, they can't fight you.
You can't be punished for going Midas on Lifestealer, which is why it's pretty much core on the hero.
Correct. Yeah, I think similar to CK, like specifically CK as a carry.
Mm-hmm.
It's like these heroes just they get like
they lifesteal too much. They lifesteal too much to be forced out of lane ever. Straight
up, yeah. They cannot be with levels and very basic items. They cannot be put in a position where they can't farm. They'll always farm. They'll always be able to fight too. Like it's kind of stupid. So definitely want to abuse that and pick up the Midas. Like the Midas also allows you to get to the Radiance,
which would be really good this game.
Which would be great. Radiance is great against TB, although he can kind of make his own Radiance with you, but not through Rage. And then it's good against PA. Forces her to pick up items she doesn't really want to build.
You could just be hitting this tower instead of chasing this kill. That doesn't make any sense. Like, okay, you killed a TB. You got 188 gold. Big whoop. This tower should be dead. But it's not. Because nobody's hitting it. And now now you're going back.
Oh no! All right, he's gonna
urgency, a sense of urgency to kill buildings, please, sir. Execute it. All right.
Yeah, this actually does go back to urgency. They actually defended.
Right, because they defended it because there was no urgency to kill the tower, and now you have no regen, so you're gonna have to play very carefully. Because I'm assuming that you're probably not gonna send yourself any regen. You could just be feasting off of these guys to heal up, potentially.
See, what you did there will happen with level 1 Rage. Just by the way, like, you don't need the level 3 in Rage to do what you just did.
Yeah, I mean, the build that pretty much every pro I've seen do is you go first in Feast, you go 1 in Feast, then you go Rage, then you go Feast, then you go Open Wounds, then you max out Feast, then you max out Rage. And then you have a Radiance, and you just run at people.
Yep, sounds about right. Yeah, I would honestly say like lack of urgency has definitely been a big issue in this game. It's always so obvious when you're like winning the early game and then somehow end up losing. It's usually due to like you probably feel pretty decent about this game right now because you guys are winning.
Yeah, you've killed the Terrorblade, you've killed the CK, things feel good.
But then PA starts owning, and it's like, oh, who could have predicted that? But then, like, if you own this, if you take the tower and you go deal with the PA because you feel the sense of urgency, she never becomes a problem. And like they have a TB, Kunkka, PA, Tricor, like 3 very effective heroes in the late game, especially the TB and the PA. So
all against you too.
You absolutely should feel the sense of urgency in this game.
Yeah.
Like, at this point, you should be not farming jungle, like taking tower, like go top. I think we talked about this in like a couple replays ago. Take top, run through the enemy jungle, take the mid tower, choke them out because they have less of the map to work with because they have less towers and feel very unsafe being far out on the map. Then PA is not a problem anymore because she'll be the only hero on their team that's doing it.
Holy shit.
Yeah, she's huge.
Yeah, this is a massive problem. And now, because the style of play that you have that we've seen from this replay is that you just want to fight all the time. And so you're going to continue to fight all the time, but you're going to be fighting a level 14 PA with the Desolator who's just going to completely destroy you for the rest of the game.
The thing is, you could, like, at this point, she's still killable. If you're top fighting this, if you're pressuring the tower, if you have wards, she dies if you're there.
Yeah.
Look at her HP. She definitely dies, but you're kind of just farming and chilling bot. I think with an armlet. Yeah, if you're going fighting items especially, like you don't want to just sit and farm. It's different if you are like farming a Midas, then sure, but even then you'd probably still want to farm on the enemy side of the map just because that way you can farm while also getting something else. Like Dota's all about getting more bang for your buck. Like you go top and you do the exact same thing you're doing here, which is hitting creeps, except you're hitting creeps in an area where it fucks them over. So you're getting more for doing the exact same thing at the same cost. So yeah, once this tower is dead, go do this exact same shit in the top lane, and then PA won't be as much of an issue. Because if she shows up there, well, guess what? You're in the jungle farming. Big boy Lifestealer comes out, kills her, gets 3 levels from killing such a high level hero.
Yep. All right, you're dead. Game's over now. And this game is officially over. I honestly feel like we should make like a Dota Basics series, just because I feel like we repeat the same stuff all the time. Like, here's a rotation that you should make every single game. Here's when you should stop farming here every single game. Here's when you should prioritize being with your team every single game. Here's a tower you should take every single game. Like, we might need to actually do that, because I feel like at this point, we've probably looked at, I don't know, like over 100 replays from our patrons at this point, and we've said we say new stuff every single week, but we also repeat the same like 5 or 6 concepts like every single week. Yeah,
like creeps aren't about gold. You shouldn't fight for kills. You should fight for towers. Like,
yeah, and it's stuff that if you actually employ it like religiously for a month, you will gain 1,000 to 2,000 MMR.
Literally 1,000 to 2,000. Yeah, I completely agree. I thought you were going to say a low number, and I was going to correct you to be
no, literally 1,000, 2,000 MMR. This,
and even at Immortal, this is still true.
Yeah, like, focusing less on just fighting randomly and farming creeps in places that don't make sense to be farming creeps. Those 2 concepts will take you from a Guardian to a Legend player in like a month.
Even if your team is dumb and not doing it, over enough of a period of time, you'll be consistent enough that you'll win more than you lose, because that is a super game-winning thing. If the enemy team has 1 creep wave at one point in the game pushed in that they have to deal with, you take 1 fight and win it. That's a game that you won that you otherwise wouldn't, just from understanding one concept, which is that creeps are not about gold. It's about pushing the creeps into the enemy team, so they have to deal with it.
Yes.
Like, one time in one game, one person doing that will win 1 game. And if you're playing 20 games a day, that's 2 games a day extra that you're winning over a period of a month. That's like 1,000 MMR.
Yeah,
it's insane. It's a lot of lost MMR essentially.
Yep. Yeah, I think we actually might need to do that. We'll make a series called like the real Dota tutorial or something like that, and it'll be like, creeps are not about gold. Creeps are about being able to take objectives and getting vision for your team.
I'm gonna go to Pokus channel and just see what he's doing, and we can just copy like whatever he's doing.
Cut it. Cut the stream. That's the last replay, right?
Yeah, that's it.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for taking your time out of your day and spending it with us here on Dota Alchemy. We love you guys. It's been 2 hours and 43 minutes of dope shit. Thank you for our patrons, of course, for supporting us and giving us the replays to review and allowing us to make Dota Alchemy a place where people can learn the actual basics of Dota instead of whatever it is most people are playing. All right.
God, I was gonna shout out our Patreon, but Patreon's down for maintenance. Shit.
All right. We'll see you guys next week. Peace.